guys, welcome back to the Ad Lib Podcast, and today is episode 12 of the podcast, and what a special week we have for you. Before we get into all of that, as always, we have the king of dad jokes, the king of fascinating trivia, Mr. Franco Rizzo, on the show. All good, Franco?
All good, all good. How about yourself? Apart from messing up interviews, how are you?
Oh, that said it out. That said it out. Oh, no.
See, I also messed up, so it's fine. But what definitely that won't mess up is our resident MCU hater, Joe Paolella.
Most definitely. What's up, Joe?
That's a lot of pressure to put on me to not mess up, but we'll see how the show goes. I'm pretty good. I'm glad to see that the MCU is in a really stable state at the moment.
Joe, today I'm going to be joining you just for this episode.
Eventually, everyone joins the resistance. Eventually, everyone does.
I got quite a bit of, let's say, feedback on my thoughts on Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And I have a lot to say today, so we'll get into that shortly.
Let's hear it. Joe will be like drinking it up and savoring it like
popcorn.
A good, a good cup of wine. Or what? Actually, are you a wine enthusiast or a whiskey enthusiast?
Enthusiast, no. Drinker, yes.
So he'll drink it up and
yes. I'm gonna sit there, arms crossed, looking very smug, knowing I was right all along. So.
We should do a drinking episode one day, guys. We have
definitely.
Like everyone has their own drinks.
True.
And see who stays up the longest.
And what
will be a pretty good one
to our episode.
We'll do a drinking game. We'll do a watch along of something not very good,
yeah.
like a Marvel film. And every time there's CGI, you drink. So.
Anjali, you watch Anjali. Or have you guys seen Just Noise? By the way,
no, actually,
no, I don't think so.
I haven't. It didn't release in the first world country that I live in. So
it is available on stream. It's available on VOD somehow, but I don't know where. I think it's Amazon. No, I think it was on Amazon. So yeah, that's
it on Amazon?
I should think so. Just a second. Just Noise, Amazon.
But no, I haven't watched it yet. I refuse to go watch it in the cinema for obvious reasons. Anyone who watches this podcast will know exactly why.
No, it doesn't seem to be staying on. But anyway, Andrea, how does this podcast work?
Yeah, so first of all, what is the Ad Lib Podcast all about? The Ad Lib Podcast is all about movies, it's all about series, all about video games. Today we have a lot of reviews for pretty much everything I've mentioned. We also have some news to talk about. But before we get into all of that, Franco has a bit of a special announcement to make. So, Franco, take it away.
It's not a bit of a special announcement. It's a huge special announcement because we're going to interview the director of Skinamarink. Skinamarink is a small horror movie that first went viral, but for the budget that it was made for, 15,000 Canadian dollars, it managed to gain $1 million in the box offices in America. And we're going to interview the director, Kyle Edward Ball, see how he got to make the movie, why he made the movie, and also what are his future plans now. Oh, by the way,
there you can see the movie on the screen.
I'm seeing the rating. It is, I would say, it is a divisive movie. It's a movie that you have to like try and enjoy on its own terms. Actually, you watched it too. You watched it, right, Joe?
I watched it this week. Yeah, it is slow cinema with an emphasis on slow. Yeah. But it's like I can really admire it, one, for the budget it was made on and the ideas in it. Like I can't compare it to anything because a lot of people say like, it's like the Blair Witch Project or it's like Paranormal Activity, but it's not found footage.
No.
That's probably the thing that it's closest to. But I mean, it's slow and it can be a hard watch. But then when it ramps up the tension and the horror, it's like genuinely like, there were parts like I watch horror films all the time, like not to be like big macho man. I don't get scared of anything, but this was one. It's that perfect thing where the thing is so scary because of what you don't see, not because of what you see. And this film does that perfectly. Like the final shot is like, it's still in my mind. I can see it. It's
Yeah,
I really respect the effort on this one.
the effort is seen, like, even I think technically, because I said as well in my review, I said that it's very slow. It could have done with more judicious cutting, but as a first effort, I think, and I will also mention this with our review of Infinity Pool, I think it's best when the first effort is not perfect, because then you'd have a sort of Orson Welles curse. You go, you start off like with a punch, and then everyone compares it to that. It's like, what happens next, you know?
Yeah.
So I think
I feel like Jordan Peele is suffering something like that, because Get Out was
most
so
definitely.
good and so tight. Even though Us and Nope are still very good films, they're not as complete as Get Out was, I don't think.
So
Agreed, 100%. Agreed.
So we're gonna publish the interview this Saturday. Tune in and make sure to subscribe, like, comment on this video, follow us on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, anywhere they can follow us on. Joe and Andrea.
I think, we mentioned Instagram, right?
Your favorite podcast platforms. I mean, on Spotify, there is a follow-up.
Spotify,
So,
definitely Spotify.
yeah,
definitely.
And maybe catch us on
put that auto-download on.
Awesome. Okay, Andrea, shall we get started with the festivities?
Okay, so before we get into the news, guys, let's talk a little bit about what we've been watching this week. I know Joe has watched a lot this week. So, Joe, what have you been up to?
Yeah, I've done really, really well this week after being away and not watching all that much. I have been watching more TV, so I think I'm on the last 2 episodes of Succession Season 3, so I'll definitely make it in time for Season 4, and
Nice.
Succession is... It's always great. It's a show that I love because I don't see any spoilers on the internet, like not even a hint of them, so I can actually wait before a season comes out to binge the season that came before it. So I really like it for that, and it's just really good entertainment. But things that we are going to review, I've watched Infinity Pool, I've watched Knock at the Cabin, I watched Women Talking, some rewatches this week as well, because my girlfriend had never seen them. I introduced her to Trainspotting and to Prisoners. Both of which she actually
Damn good movies.
really enjoyed.
Chef's
And
kiss
I also,
of
as
a
we
movie.
mentioned, I watched Skinamarink as well. So I've had a
Nice.
pretty good week in terms of that. And we'll get to my review in a little bit. I have finally, very late to the party because I don't have much time to play, I have finally finished God of War Ragnarok, but we'll get to that.
Nice.
Nice.
Franco, what about you?
So I've watched obviously Infinity Pool. I've watched Possessor. Because before I watched Infinity Pool, I made sure to watch Possessor because it was Brandon Cronenberg's second effort. His first effort was Antiviral, which I haven't seen yet. And I could compare, like, Possessor was the second step, and Infinity Pool is the third step. I'm seeing a director grow and finding his voice, finding the teams he's into, basically. And then I just also finished watching Last of Us episode 6 before I logged in to record our podcast. And Joe,
that we'll be
we're-
reviewing in a bit.
we're gonna
Joe, unfortunately.
we're gonna spoil the hell out of the episode, Joe. Okay, just for you to make it
Yeah. Not all of us had the day off today to watch it during the day.
I did not. Yay, carnival holidays.
I'll be watching it after this episode.
No, I wasn't off either as well. But I started work right now. I'm doing a videography job, so
Nice.
I'm still
Nice.
flexing those muscles, so it's good.
Great. All right, in my case, I had some rewatches as well. I rewatched Parts of Glory.
Great film.
Brilliant
Great
movie.
film.
We mentioned Rocky last week, and I hadn't watched it. I thought I had watched it, but I watched Rocky Balboa, the 2006
Nice. What do you think?
one, which was really good. And now it just made me want to watch all the Rockies again.
Yes, it's all you need. Yes.
So I'm going to definitely watch number 1, number 2, and number 3 this week. I'll do like a marathon probably. And then maybe 4 and 5. I know 5 is not very good, right, Joe?
5. 5 doesn't exist in the Rocky canon. It's really,
Is this
what
like
the fuck were they doing with 5?
Is this an indie gem, by the way? An indie...
I mean, the first Rocky was.
To
Okay.
be fair, it's true. The first one was, yeah.
By the way,
I watched 1 and 2 and 3 definitely. I've 100% watched 1, 2, and 3 because I watched like the trailers and I
can't
recognized.
believe you haven't seen Rocky 4, and I'm so excited for you to see it.
No, 4 I don't think I watched it because I watched the
Ah.
trailer and I didn't recognize anything basically from
I
it.
can't. You'd recognize Ivan Drago if you'd seen him before.
No,
trust me.
I haven't watched it.
a Swedish
haven't watched it.
actor playing Russian, basically.
Yes, fantastic. Dolph Lundgren.
Uh,
So that's Rocky.
Dolph Lundgren.
Sorry, Franco.
Dolph Lundgren. The Swedish accent. Andrea's not happy about it. By the way, speaking of Carnival, apparently Malta, it was invaded by Wednesdays.
Yep,
Not surprised.
I expected it.
It's like everyone.
And I mean
like,
Jenna Ortega. So
People jumping on trends.
first it was Squid Game. No, first it was Casa del Papel. Then it was Squid
Casa
Game,
del Papel.
and now it's Wednesday. It's just
Yeah.
No one's gonna wear that costume,
No, not at all.
Stranger Things has. I've never seen much of Stranger Things at the carnival.
I mean, to be fair, Stranger Things, at least like where I live, people kind of just dress like that anyway. So
Anyways.
it's not considered carnival.
But like dressing up like Vecna would be really hard.
Yes,
That'd be
Yes,
really
yes,
hard.
yes.
That'd be. There would be some dedication to that.
Yeah.
I mean,
lots of makeup.
You can buy loads of mushrooms from the supermarket and dress yourself up as one of the clickers,
That's what I wanted to do, but it would have taken too much effort. So I
Yes,
just
it's
dressed
a
up as a
lot.
footballer.
Not the
That
best.
was the easiest thing I could do.
I was gonna,
Just
I was
wore
gonna,
my
I was
football
gonna say,
cleats.
I was gonna say, you remember Ollie and Benji? Is that the same kit, by any chance, that you're wearing right now?
This? No,
Yeah.
no, it's just a random Adidas tracksuit.
No, it looks the part. Yes, I thought it was like
Does have the colors too.
true.
Apart from Rocky, I watched Possessor, like you guys, and I watched Infinity Pool. We'll get into this discussion, but I really, really like Possessor. And I think I might have raised my expectations too high for Infinity Pool after really enjoying Possessor. So I liked Infinity Pool as well, but now we'll get into it. Spoilers, what I definitely did not like was Ant-Man 3, which I went to watch with my girlfriend. I was really excited because it was honestly the first Marvel movie I ever watched with my girlfriend in the cinema. And she liked it. She didn't mind it.
At
She's
least.
probably not burnt out like I am.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that as well. And today I managed to watch 3 episodes, the first 3 episodes, which were released on Apple TV last Friday, I believe, of Hello Tomorrow. And I have some pretty positive thoughts about that. I know it's got some mixed reactions from critics, but I'll get into that later on.
I checked the
Franco.
the rotten ratings of Hello Tomorrow. Critics panned it, but the audience is loving it.
I generally agree with critics in most things. Like Ant-Man 3, for example, audience love it. It's like 84-85%. But in this case, with Hello Tomorrow, I really don't get why the critics have hated on it as much. Might be because they got all the episodes, and I only watched the first 3, so could be the story doesn't develop as I'm expecting it to. But now I'll let you know in a bit. All right, so that was our week. Now, let's get into the second segment, guys, which you'll notice is going to be shorter than what we usually do, mainly because there wasn't much news this week. We pretty much will be talking about only the DGA Awards and the BAFTAs, basically. So, let's get into the first one.
You know what will be news, Andrea? When you watch Empty Man. So that we get that joke out of the way immediately.
Yeah, I've nearly given up on that joke. It's disappointing every week.
It's no longer. It's a sad joke, and you're becoming the joke now, Andrea, for not watching it.
We have to. David Pryor, if you're out there and you're somehow listening to this, you have to appear on the show. Because that's the only way Andrea's going to watch your film.
And we shame Andrea. We shame Andrea.
True.
Yes.
True. No, then I would have to watch it as in there. I would have no option.
Also, something to shame
But-
Andrea with. Something to shame Andrea with. What's that I see on the news? Huh? Tell him, Joe.
If that's what we're going to do, then I'll start with the BAFTAs, where Everything Everywhere All at Once did horribly. So let's start with the BAFTAs then, guys. No, I'm joking. Let's start with the DGAs. Where? No. Again, I'll repeat, I didn't hate, I didn't dislike it. I quite liked Everything Everywhere All at Once. I just thought it was a bit overrated. But outstanding directorial achievement in theatrical feature film, we had Tar, we had Top Gun Maverick, we had obviously Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Banshees of Inisherin and The Fabelmans. Guys, do you think the Daniels deserve the win here?
Yes.
Let me start with Joe.
Yes. Short answer, yes.
Yes.
It's interesting how there's the whole team there, right? Mentioned.
Whatever Everything Everywhere All at Once wins in this award season, it deserves.
Yep.
Maybe not in the acting roles, though. Not in the acting roles, I think.
Even then,
Right.
I'd be like, yeah, they were good.
Well,
They were great.
they were
I've had
great,
no qualms.
Especially
Alright.
Stephanie Shu as well.
Yeah, I can't see Michelle Yeoh winning just because of Kate Blanchett, but if she
Kate-
does, I'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I mean, if Michelle Yeoh wins it, it's fine. But if Kate Blanchett wins it, it's enough. That's good.
I'd be happy with the Kate Blanchett win. But we'll get into that in a bit when we talk about the BAFTAs. So that was the best director. Apart from that, I'm very happy with this win. Charlotte Wells with After Sun, outstanding directorial achievement of a first-time theatrical feature film director. Very, very happy with that. Charlotte Wells winning it. There was some interesting competition. Franco, you watched Emily... No, was it Joe? Joe, you watched
I
Emily
watched
the Criminal,
Emily the
right?
Criminal, yeah.
What do you think about the direction in that?
It's good. I mean, the film is a perfectly fine film. It just... I feel like it was more from a story perspective than a directorial one, where I kind of fell off it a bit, just because it needed that little bit more justification for some of the scenes. But from a directorial point of view, no, good.
Have you guys watched Murina Happening and Saint Omer? Saint Omer, I think we mentioned last
No.
time, Franco. It
Yeah.
was just me and you, and we... Yeah, Franco.
Yeah, I'm actually going to watch it. Maybe after we finish, I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna let you know about it because, again, I'm really trying to discover more. I'm trying to make my way into African cinema now, even like Egyptian cinema. Guys, quick trivia thing, and I know I'm going off on a tangent. You know that every year in Egypt they produce 50 movies.
Damn,
Nice.
that's a lot of movies.
I was talking to a taxi driver yesterday, and he was telling me like, oh, there's this Egyptian Netflix show called. Actually, here I'm gonna make a bit of a plug here. It's called Paranormal. It's an Egyptian TV series on Netflix.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I don't know what's to expect right now. I don't know the reviews of it, but he enjoyed it, and he obviously was proud to mention that it is an Egyptian production on Netflix. That there's
Don't think I've watched anything Egyptian.
This is
Because-
it, right, Franco?
yes. Just let me check. That's the one, and it got good rating as well, even with the audience
Very
on
good,
Rotten
very good.
Tomatoes. And I'm gonna check because, to be honest, I started the conversation by watching by mentioning a classic Egyptian movie, and if I'm not mistaken, it's called The Station, Cairo Station. It's 1958.
Okay.
I haven't seen that either.
Okay, and if you want, by the way, this is something. Since we're mentioning Marvel, the director of Moon Knight made a really interesting movie, which I haven't watched yet. I'm gonna tell you soon enough. Bear with me a second.
Because he's Egyptian, isn't he? The guy who did Moon Knight.
Yes, Egyptian.
Yes.
Mhm.
What's his name? Mohammed Diab. So Mohammed Diab made a movie called Clash.
Clash. Not heard of that either.
It's a one location movie where everything happens in one van, and it's in the time during the Arab Spring.
Okay. You know what I really liked about Moon Knight? And I know the composer was Egyptian as well. The music in it, the soundtrack was amazing. And I know he was Egyptian.
But that's it. So, and we started off with what news, by the way? With
We're back
did
on the
Okay.
Directors Guild Awards.
from Saint
I don't know how
Omer.
we segued to from
Because-
Saint Omer, yeah.
From Saint Omer, because I mentioned African movies. So yeah,
Saint Omer to Egypt.
yeah.
Not bad.
And also, my girlfriend is actually watching a Kuwaiti series. I forgot the name. It's on Netflix though as well.
Oh, is it based in a high school? By the way,
Might be. She mentioned it, but I forgot. Sorry, Tri.
no worries. Because I did mention it yesterday. I thought, is it called The Exchange?
I think it is The Exchange, yes. I think, yeah, that's the one, The Exchange.
Okay, I have
That's the one, that's the one.
I have to mention, guys. Please notice, for all the marketing that the Malta Film Commission is doing, we still don't have a Netflix series. Okay, Kuwait has it. Senegal has a movie. Nigeria has a movie. Egypt has a movie and a series. But Malta's like,
It actually genuinely baffles me from my time working at the Times of Malta how it, like, even no one at Netflix has like sunk in to the Daphne Caruana Galizia investigation,
there was.
True.
because that shit is begging for a Netflix docu-series.
No, but the problem with it, Joe, it's so fucking biased, man. Like I really want to be the one who calls dibs on the way that it is portrayed. I think the storyline should be it's almost star-like, I would say, because I think as a personality, now I'm being very objective here, as a personality she wasn't savory. But
No.
then it has the complexity of her character, was how well she wrote, and the journalistic effort that she put in was very good. It's the point for me which shouldn't have happened to begin with is her being killed. But
Yes,
unfortunately,
I mean, at the end of the day, someone was murdered for doing their job.
yes, and what I was comment about it, and I will make it public now, is she didn't die a hero, but she did die a martyr.
Yes,
True.
it would be very interesting if someone could do something like that. It's all there.
It's all there, but again, we have to. I think there, if someone from abroad comes to report about this thing, we'll lose all sense of nuance, which we did lose all sense of nuance. Reading much of the New Yorker articles, I think there's a great article if anyone would like to see a very objective take on who the personality was, the person rather than the personality, is on Malta Today, and it was, if I'm not mistaken, by James De Bono. James De Bono really made a great obituary article about her. You know, he didn't skim through the unpleasant stuff, but he also gave credit where it was due. And I think it's really important in a world where we live, in a world of post-objectivity, so to speak. And you're right, Joe. That's a shame. Anyway, we were saying about Saint Omer.
Yeah.
Quite the tangent.
Quite the tangent. Mela. So that's Saint Omer. So we haven't watched it, by the way. So I don't know how we spent like 10 minutes talking about it. But anyways, it's one of the movies I've been really looking forward to watching. And Happening as well. I know Happening is a French movie, right?
Yes. It's an abortion movie, and it was shown.
Okay.
It was shown at Spazio Creative. It's a very tough. Apparently, it's a very tough watch.
Sounds like it.
I think
Yeah.
based by the book by Annie Ernaux, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
All right.
So that's a movie I've been needing to watch for a very, very long time. So I have to find the time to watch that.
Joe would be happy. See dramatic series. So there's two interesting wins there.
Yeah. So for dramatic series, we had Ozark nominated. We had Better Call Saul. We had Euphoria. We had Severance with 2 episodes. Oh, wow. Severance actually got 2 episodes nominated. Damn. But Euphoria took the win with Stand Still Like in the Hummingbird. The episode Stand Still Like the Hummingbird. Joe, you're all caught up with Euphoria?
I am all caught up on Euphoria. It's nice to see it get some awards recognition because, like, despite how good it is and how kind of like pulpy it is, not that many people watch it, I feel. And like, to be fair to like Levinson, the work that like goes into the show is ridiculous. Like the fact that it's all shot on Super 16 film as well for a TV series is a very, very, like, it must be hugely expensive. And it's a big investment for everyone involved to do that. But I look forward to Euphoria every year. It's very, very, very entertaining.
Are you looking forward to The Idol, by the way?
Yes, I am looking forward to The Idol. I actually can't wait for that to come out.
Joe, I wanted to ask, so for someone like me who really dislikes teenage angst movies and series, how would you convince me to watch it?
What can you give me an example of a teenage angst movie or series that you dislike?
Velma.
Ooh, like pretty much everyone I've watched in the past 2 years, definitely. Like any series that ignores its original premise to add teenage angst to it. I think the last obvious thing was the Netflix Resident Evil adaptation.
Okay.
Oh my
now.
god.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Euphoria is unique in the sense of it's about teenagers, but it's treated as extremely adult.
Okay.
Like the situations they find themselves in, although they can be quite teenage, are treated with extreme seriousness and, like, I wouldn't say maturity, because then, like, the show is extremely exaggerated. It's like, it's teenage life on fucking crack cocaine and ketamine. Like,
yep.
But then it's extremely stylish. The performances are incredible. And it's good high stakes drama. That's why I enjoy it.
Okay.
I would say, like, if you're not in on the first episode, then it's not for you.
Okay.
And it just gets wilder and wilder as the episodes go. Season 1 has one of the best, like, ending 5 minutes I've ever seen in TV, with just what they do with it. It's really, really cool. Again, really stylish.
Wait till you watch the last episodes of Succession, season 3.
No, but this is just in the case of, like, not what it does, like, with the story. There's just, like, a big montage at the end of the season.
Oh, okay.
Which
All
is
right.
just so stylish and incredibly well done and very symbolic of what the character is going through.
Uh-huh.
And season 2 has so far one of, like, the most harrowing and cliffhanger endings that I've seen in a show recently. So,
As in the
it's very good.
the last episode of season 2, you're saying?
Yes.
I think eventually I will continue watching it because, like Joe is saying, technically and stylistically, it's amazing. You know, it's very, very inspiring. And do you remember what's her name? Rue. Zendaya's
Rue, the
character?
main character.
Yeah, there's a moment where Rue, I really want to see how they made it when you see her like falling up
Yeah.
the room. That's a very interesting sequences.
No, it's,
I think
it's extremely creatively done.
Yes, that's
And
again.
Go ahead.
Okay, you were saying, and it's
No, I said that the show has also brought us stars. Like, what I do love is it's taken Zendaya from pretty bland side character in a Marvel movie to the star of a show who's winning awards, and she's fucking great. And it's also given us people like now Sydney Sweeney and Jacob Elordi, who are destined to be stars.
Sydney Sweeney is actually going to be in a movie based on the whistleblower reality star, the whistleblower that made public the Russian interference in Trump's election. So that's
Okay.
I think that's a good role she can choose.
All right.
After what was that? The Voyeurs.
Anyway, I mean, she was in The White Lotus season 1 as well. She had a very small
True.
role in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Very small role.
Ah, yes, part of
she-
the Manson cult.
Part of the Manson family, yeah. She is going to be, regrettably, I think, in the Madam Web movie with Dakota Johnson, which I
Madam-
don't think anyone knows exists / is going to watch.
Okay. No, but
By the way, you mentioned Jacob Elordi. I think he was one of those mentioned as possible Superman.
I would love him for Superman.
as a very young Superman.
Yes,
obviously.
he would be fantastic. I like. Did you see the images released of him from Sofia Coppola's Priscilla Presley movie?
Oh
You know,
yeah,
for me,
he's Elvis, right?
he's playing Elvis. Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, it already
Oh.
looks better than the Baz Luhrmann one. Just from
Them
the images.
BAFTAs. Just saying.
We'll talk about that in a bit, Joe. The BAFTAs are coming up.
Now,
Right.
I was gonna say about Euphoria. I think I just switch off what part of the brain and just watch it, even for the technical aspect of it.
Yeah,
Especially
I
that
wouldn't
sweet,
think too
sweet
much about
16
Euphoria.
millimeter. That sweet 16
Yeah.
millimeter, man.
I wouldn't think too hard about Euphoria.
And anyway, there's another good news for Joe here, which is going to bring him a big smile with the DGAs, which is Andrea.
The comedy series, we had Wednesday nominated. We have Barry taking the win.
About fucking
Does anyone...
time.
What, you watch Barry, right, Joe?
Barry is two chef's kiss. It is fucking incredible. No one watches it. Bill Hader is a genius and the gift that keeps on giving. And like that, like there is in the latest season of Barry the best chase sequence, which is not a chase sequence, and like
Yes,
it has to be
yes.
watched to be understood what I mean with that.
I
is-
just oh fuck, I saw it
It's
out
incredible
of context.
what the guy
It's
is
very-
writing and what he's doing, and the pathos and the catharsis that he's bringing to this character on this show, and also just the performance. Like Bill Hader's known for like SNL funny dude and funny side character, like shit comedies, but he's incredibly dramatically. It's like I love Barry. I legit like it's. I hope the next season comes out this year, and I don't think it is.
Yeah, it seems
How many seasons are there, Joe?
I think 4. I want to say, or
Ooh,
season 4 is the
that's-
next coming one. That's the only thing.
That's too many.
I can't
Too
remember.
many
No, but
for me.
they're like 8 episodes each.
digestible.
Yeah, but there's so much to watch. White Lotus.
It's so
Euphoria.
worth it, though.
It's stuff.
Okay, this is coming from me, and I love all 3 shows that you just mentioned right here. If you're going to start one of them ASAP, Barry.
Ostra? More than White Lotus.
I would say Barry, White Lotus, Euphoria.
because White Lotus really caught my attention. Like I watched the trailer and
With
all these memes on TikTok
Yeah.
are just so
with White
entertaining.
Lotus, what you'll find is you'll watch one episode and then suddenly you finish the season because it's only 6 episodes long. And it's so like digestible, even though the episodes are 45 minutes long. It feels like you're watching 20-minute episodes.
Fair enough.
All right.
So that's Barry. Anything else you want to say, Joe, about Barry?
It's the best.
It's the best.
And watch it. Watch it.
Yes.
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. My girlfriend watches this. She really liked it. I don't think she watched the whole thing though. She watched quite a few episodes. So anyone here? I got up on Marvelous.
I
Mrs.
tried
Maisel?
starting it a couple of years ago because I liked the film that the main actress Rachel Brosnahan was in.
She looks really good, so.
Yeah, but I'm just like I struggled to get into it. It's just not for me. It's definitely not bad, but it's just not for me.
Oh, you guys would be happy for that nomination.
Yes,
Yep, The Bear.
The Bear is fantastic. Bring me season 2 right now.
Is that-
White Lotus, yes, hell yes.
Review
How is The Bear in a comedy series? Is it a comedy series?
Yeah.
depends on where you see it.
No,
like
there's
more of
a-
a drama series.
No,
but
there's definitely funny parts to it, especially like all
There
the
are.
interactions with Cousin.
Dillallo. Cousin.
I really want to find out more about Cousin in that show because he seems to be obsessed with Philip K. Dick and Blade Runner because he frequently refers to people in the show as replicants.
Yeah.
And even in one episode when they're eating, he says, "Oh, let's all say what we're thankful for." He says, "I'm thankful for Philip K. Dick." So I'd like to know how someone like him is into the sci-fi literature of Philip K. Dick. It's very interesting.
True.
Okay, so that's The Bear and The White Lotus. We already mentioned The White Lotus nominated there as well, with Barry taking the win. Wednesday, by the way, which is also a very good series. Probably you've watched it though if you're watching this podcast. One last thing I wanted to mention from here was one that caught my eye, but for all the wrong reasons. I don't know what Obi-Wan Kenobi's doing here in the movies for television and limited series. But anyways,
Must be a really bad year for limited series.
yeah.
By the way,
I know
guys,
there's Weird Al Yankovic's story. I've been meaning to watch that for a long
That's
time.
really good.
Franco.
that Station 11 is also worth watching. I didn't start it, but apparently it's also worth.
Yeah, apparently it's
The-
really good. It's on my list.
yeah.
2 nominations here, by the way. 2 episodes
Yeah.
got nominated.
It's UK, right? UK production, if I'm not mistaken, or UK actors.
I think UK actors. Or like
Yeah,
a mix.
they
I'm
look
not
like-
entirely
yeah.
sure.
It's on HBO though, apparently. HBO Max.
And there's also another one where
So-
it's checking out Tales from the Loop, sci-fi. These both sci-fi, Station 11 and Tales from the Loop.
I watched a couple episodes of Tales from the Loop. Wasn't crazy about it, but it was pretty good.
Okay.
So that's pretty much all we had to say about the DGAs. Overall, I think with regard to wins, I think quite reasonable. No, guys.
Yeah, pretty solid.
Barry?
Pretty solid.
Euphoria, After Sun with the directorial debut,
Unlike the
and Everything
BAFTAs,
Everywhere all
apparently.
at once.
Unlike the BAFTAs, apparently.
But
Yeah.
next up, we're going to be talking about the BAFTAs.
Yeah.
Joe is already very excited with that.
Okay, my vegetables are slow roasting. Time to slow roast Baz Luhrmann. Let's go. What should we just talk shit about Andrea whilst he's gone?
Yes, yes. It's still recording. Go.
Yeah. Look at that
Mother-
guy. Hasn't even watched The Empty Man.
He makes our lives empty. That motherfucker.
Chicken looking mighty fine.
Enjoy the editing,
What happened?
Andrea. Enjoy the editing.
Yeah, you'll find out when you edit this.
Okay. So next up, after the DGAs, we have the BAFTAs, and Joe is already not too excited about all this.
Nope.
Seeing the image we've got here. But let's get into it step by step. So let's start off. Very, very positive evening for All Quiet on the Western Front, which
Yeah.
I'm very happy about.
Yep.
It was, I think, my number 4 and number 5 movie of the year. Movie I really, really enjoyed. Joe, what did you think about All Quiet on the Western Front?
I think
Do
it's
you
great.
think it deserves a win?
Yeah, I think it's really good. The only other films I've seen on the best after screenplay list is The Whale, actually. Only I haven't seen the others, so I can't really say. I think it probably wins over The Whale because All Quiet on the Western Front is adapted from a very old and very renowned novel. No, I think it's going to clean up in most of its categories where it's nominated, like in foreign film and all that. So it's good. It's a great film.
Franco, you still alive there?
Barely. Sorry, I
Were you that shocked that All Quiet on the Western Front had a positive evening?
yes, a lot. I'm also shocked that Austin Butler won as well. Just
Well,
a
we'll
second.
get to
Sorry,
that.
guys. I need to drink. Sorry.
All right, Franco.
Just a second.
I haven't watched Living. I've been meaning to watch it for a very long time. Still cannot find it anywhere, basically.
Yeah,
But
it
I've
seems
been
pretty
meaning to watch it for a
unavailable.
very, very long time. Quiet Girl, I've been meaning to watch for a very long time as well.
Yeah.
Again, another movie that's on my list. She Said I really liked, but I think I can only compare contrast She Said with All Quiet on the Western Front, and I think overall, although She Said is a very, very good movie,
Yeah.
All Quiet on the Western Front is on another level, honestly. So that's that. So that's best adapted screenplay. Then we've got best supporting actress, and I think this was one of the biggest shocks of the evening. There were quite a few shocks, but this was one of the bigger ones because Angela Bassett did not take the win here. I thought this was the Angela Bassett Award, but no, Kerry Condon took the win, and I'm very happy with that. Joe,
Yeah, I'm also very happy. I thought it was... I mean, I haven't seen Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and I'm sure Angela Bassett is perfectly fine in it.
she's actually very good at
Yeah.
it, not just she's very good at it.
But I love Banshees. I love Kerry Condon's performance in it, so I'm glad to see her win. But even like seeing like Hong Chau on this list, Hong Chau is fantastic in The Whale. She's really, really, really great. Like fantastic performance. So I would probably again, haven't seen Wakanda Forever, but being a little bit biased and a bit of a hater here, it's a fucking superhero. Like, it sounds really like film snobby and stuff like that, but I'm not going to compare the two between two very grounded dramas.
Yeah, you still haven't watched Triangle of Sadness, Joe?
Triangle of Sadness, actually an interesting one for you, Franco. I tried. I got an hour in, and I was extremely bored.
Bored with Triangle of Sadness?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I made it to exactly 59 minutes, I think, just before, like, just until you see Woody Harrelson's character for the first time. Like, you actually see him rather than hear him. My girlfriend was fast asleep on the sofa because she had wanted to watch it with me, and I'm just like, I'm checked out on this. I haven't been entertained for a second so far.
That's
okay.
That's but
shock.
no, but it is very understandable, very, very understandable. Because it is part like the first hour is like is not engaging, and then there's the bit. It's funny because you miss the really interesting bit when the boat goes haywire, basically.
Yeah, and I mean, like, for me, I watch anything. I watched Skinamarink, one of the slowest films I've seen, like, in my life, and I enjoyed parts of it. But I like that hour of Triangle of Sadness. I was like, I don't see this getting interesting for me.
So, but I would say,
So
speaking
it's a
of,
big surprise.
speaking of Triangle of Sadness, I would say Dolly De Leon was a good competition for Kerry Condon. She was the breakout star from Triangle of Sadness, Dolly De Leon.
You know, I don't get where all the hype for Dolly De Leon is coming for her performance.
From the hour I saw, I was just like,
No, that. Trust me, Joe.
I'm sure. I'm sure the film goes places. Like, it's not nominated.
It develops
for no
and goes
reason.
places.
Yeah, I'm sure
but,
it does.
And I actually did quite like Triangle of Sadness, but I still like the hype behind the performance.
Really,
Franco, maybe
really. I mean,
you saw it a bit more than me.
yeah. I mean, the very last shot of her was amazing. Even the way she was looking at what's her name, at the girlfriend, the model girlfriend. I think it was
Yeah.
it was worth it, and also the way that she asserted her power. You know, unless, and I'm going to be controversial. If it's just lip service, you know, because she's an Asian actress, and the way her character was, you know, she was one of the in the lower deck, so to speak, you know.
Oh, we're going to get into that in a bit. You can see the next tab for spoilers.
Okay, why?
We've got a lot to say about that. You'll see in a bit.
Okay.
Yep.
No, because
BAFTAsSoWhite.
all right.
Because now we'll see a photo of all the winners. There's something in common with each and every one of the winners.
Okay, let's see.
And I mean, Ara, to be honest with you, Angela Bassett, I think, I really like Black Panther Wakanda Forever. It's one of my favorites, like MCU Phase 4 movies, probably my favorite. I think she does deserve to win it. I wouldn't have minded if Carey Mulligan won with She Said as well. I thought she was very good in She Said as well. I did like that performance quite a bit. But anyways,
BAFTaSoWhite as well, man.
Best Supporting Actor. And this was, I think, the biggest shock of them all, because Ki Huy Kwan has basically been running away with all the awards, and Barry Keoghan won it for Banshees of Inisherin. This was a big shock.
Yeah.
Guys, what do you think about this one?
Look, listen, it's difficult. It's difficult with Banshees of Inisherin, because it was an all-round great performances. Even the smallest roles, even the donkey deserved the BAFTA, basically.
Justice for Jenny.
Exactly. Oh God.
Joe, what do you think?
I mean, I'm really happy.
Deserved?
I'm happy for Barry Keoghan because he was great in that film. It's tough for me to see him next to Brendan Gleeson and see him get the award over someone like Brendan Gleeson. It's also tough for me to see him next to someone like Ki Huy Kwan and see him get the award over, because, like, to be fair, those for me are the three like stacked performers in this category. Like, for me, it could go either way, and I'm happy with all of them. My heart kind of thinks that Ki Huy Kwan should get it, because he's so likable. He's been on the campaign trail, and that film's amazing. My brain thinks that Brendan Gleeson should get it because he's Brendan Gleeson. He's a fantastic actor. And then I guess my subconscious thinks that Barry Keoghan should get it because he's also fantastic. It's a strange debacle in my head at the moment.
If anything, Barry Keoghan's win is, I would say, it's deservedly also getting to know his life story. There's a bit of it trivia because his life story was very, very tough. Like he's been in 12 foster homes, and again, like he started acting by answering an advert. Was it for a commercial? I forgot exactly. Yeah, for a commercial. So I think it's a good crowning achievement for after what he's been through. So there's that silver lining about it, you know.
Yeah.
So because
And Albrecht Schusch getting some love as well, guys.
come again.
Schusch.
Come.
Shoot.
Okay.
Schuch.
Sure.
Schuch. How are you supposed to say that?
Albrecht Schuch.
Schuch. Schuch. Anyways. I think his was the best performance in All Quiet on the Western Front. He was very prominent in it. He was very, very good in that. Some good humor from him, from his character, but some very powerful emotional moments as well. I liked him a lot in that. So I'm happy to see him nominated here as well. Definitely a shocker, this one, Barry Keoghan.
Yeah.
Moving on. This is definitely not a shocker. No. Best film not in the English language, and that was obviously won by All Quiet on the Western
Decision
Front.
to Leave is nominated, though.
But
Best casting.
Decision to Leave getting at least a nomination.
Best casting.
No.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Fuck's sake.
This is the big one.
Dude, After Sun, even though if I wasn't fully sold on the movie, After Sun had the best
I mean,
casting.
I'm sorry. How are two people from how did two people from Banshees win for acting awards, but then it's not in best casting? Someone explain it.
Someone explain.
Because so far, no one has been nominated in the acting categories we've seen for Elvis. Not a single character. But it wins best casting.
No, what someone explained best casting when Tom Hanks was critically panned, and even audiences were
Guys,
saying,
when
"What
Tom
the fuck?"
Hanks is doing an accent that isn't from planet Earth in that movie.
It's not Foghorn Leghorn kind of accent. By the way, you can swear it actually
No.
49 minutes in.
I don't.
He's so exhausted that he cannot even swear, basically.
Yeah, like
I was
even if you look at like Everything Ever All at Once, like the casting in that is incredible.
It's good. No, I mean, but honestly,
After Sun should have won this.
definitely.
Let's be honest.
Yes,
down.
in terms of like chemistry between like two leads, After Sun's probably the strongest one.
Hands down. This is the shocker. Mela Barry Keoghan winning it. Chettate, Andrea.
To be honest, looking at the next one, I would have been happier if Elvis took the editing.
No.
I don't mind the editing in Elvis.
No.
I know you hate it,
No,
Joe.
I do.
I really don't mind the editing
Have you
in Elvis.
seen the montages and Everything Everywhere All at Once and like the inventiveness of that?
Yes.
And the aspect
no,
ratio
don't get me
changes.
wrong. No, don't get me wrong. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once is a deserved winner of editing, but I would prefer Elvis taking editing over casting, to be honest.
I'd prefer Elvis taking nothing.
No, 100%.
Andrea.
But if Elvis apparently has some kind of awards,
Andrea,
something is just
It appeals to all
wrong.
white people, that's what it has.
Yeah, I guess.
Andrea,
Franco.
this is my eyebrow of disdain about Elvis saying winning best editing, huh? This is the eyebrow of disdain.
No. As in, again, let me repeat. I think All Quiet on the Western Front, Banshees, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Top Gun Maverick all have better editing than Elvis. But if Elvis is going to take something, at least it takes editing.
Meh. Costumes.
Panache.
Best
rather
production
not.
design, best costumes.
So, yeah, fair enough. Best cinematography, The Batman got a nomination, which I'm happy to see.
It's about fucking time.
Very well deserved. Yeah.
Yes, this is a really well shot
Movie has.
film.
So, but All Quiet on the Western Front winning, I think that's very well deserved. Some of the best cinematography I've seen this year.
To be fair, the
was All Quiet on
cinematography
the
in
Western
that
Front.
is fantastic.
True.
Spot on.
Mm.
Debut, and I hope
Yes, Charlotte Wells makes complete sense.
But guys, do keep an eye out for Blue Jean. I saw the trailer of it. It looks like very, very important because it's during the, was it the called Section 28 when Thatcher was trying to do an anti-homosexual law. Was it called Section 28?
I wouldn't know.
I saw the trailer. It looks really pretty fucking good. Even the actress is in it, and it's based in Thatcher, Britain, in Scotland. And
Okay.
keep an eye out on it
I'll
because
put that on the list right now.
it looks
Interesting.
it looks very interesting. Yeah. All right.
Watch it. What a coincidence.
Section
28
28.
drama. Okay. So again, happy about Charlotte Wells getting the win here.
Mhm.
Very well deserved. Moving on to the Pinocchio Award,
Yeah.
also known as the Best Animated Film. Although Puss in Boots: The Last Wish has been making the rounds, it's made a lot of money. That
True,
movie, it's
true.
been a massive hit, massive hit. Puss in Boots, but I think Pinocchio is a well-deserved winner. You guys will be happy about this. Best Original Screenplay.
Yep.
And I think it is very well deserved.
Yep.
Banshees of Inisherin.
Right up there.
Winning with Martin McDonagh. Best Special Visual Effects is...
Well, I mean,
Come on.
the James Cameron Award.
I mean,
The James Cameron Award.
maybe Elvis should have won Best Visual Effects. So now we're putting Elvis in there now.
True. And if it's going to win anything, which I might as well win Best Special Visual Effects.
Well, Avatar.
The Batman. Batman had a lot of practical effects, though.
Yes, but then you had a lot of visuals as well.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I want to watch this. Navalny. I have it
Alright,
in my
Best
list.
Documentary. The Fire of Love would take. Fire of Love is the only one I've watched. But Navalny, have you guys watched it? Nope. Of it?
It's in my list. It's in my list. And the
This looks
Oh,
bloody. Oh, I'm gonna watch it
I'm in.
tonight.
I think I'm gonna watch it myself tonight, and we can review it all
I'm gonna
together
watch it
next
tonight.
week.
This looks so good. Man, this looks really good. Yeah, that's my evening watch. So that's Navalny. We'll talk about it next week.
Ha!
Now this
bullshit.
is one.
Bullshit.
Joe,
Don't accept
hear
it.
me.
Bullshit.
Hear me out first. The tone and the mood in All Quiet on the Western Front is pitch perfect, right? I think we can all agree on that.
Yes.
The tone and the mood.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me that the soundtrack doesn't set the perfect tone and mood for this movie.
It's a good soundtrack, but
But it's not Babylon. No, true.
I do not hear it in. I haven't thought or sang the tune of any of the soundtrack in my head since watching that film. Babylon, at least 5 times a day. The tune comes into my head.
That's what
You know what the issue here is, Joe? Go ahead, Franco.
That's what I was going to say. What did you hear after watching? Which soundtrack did you listen to after watching the movie? Quiet on the Western Front or Babylon?
Because they're different. They're different soundtracks. One is all out, and essential. It's, how am I going to describe it? In All Quiet on the Western Front, the soundtrack is there, but you won't really notice it's there. But it is playing a really important part in the movie, like the horns, when you get like those big panning shots of the oh my god, the land between the Germans and the No Man's Land. Oh my god, history major here. So when you've got the blaring horns, right, and that really sets the mood and the tone.
Yeah.
Whilst with Babylon, it's all out like songs, and again that are you listen to all the time.
I think All Quiet on the Western Front definitely has better sound design than Babylon. If this was a sound design award, it wins it. But I still think the soundtrack is way better with Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree, Tadvir. I do. I'm trying to be devil's advocate here.
Mm-hmm.
But so that we don't get this wrong, All Quiet on the Western Front is a very good soundtrack. It does its job and does its job really well. But of course, I mean, Babylon is
So it is a soundtrack.
next level.
It is a soundtrack.
Like you said, Joe, All Quiet on the Western Front took best sound.
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to take most of the technical achievements.
Yeah,
All
it's
Quiet on the
kind
Western
of
Front,
cleaning
isn't
up.
it?
Called it.
Yeah.
Called it.
Called it, Franco. Elvis takes best costume design,
Mm-hmm.
which I think, to be fair, I think it should be between All Quiet on the Western Front and Babylon in this case.
True, Anka
Both
Babylon.
have
Is
very
Babylon had good
I haven't
costume
watched
design.
Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris.
I
So
mean, again, it's not
She's
like the entire bagel sequence and everything ever all at once looked fucking incredible with the costumes
True.
they had.
But
But
that's-
anyway,
no, that's true as
Apparently,
well.
Mrs.
That's
Harris
true.
is still in Paris. Sorry.
Don't know if any of you guys have watched any of these short films,
Nah.
guys.
But the boy, the
best
mole, the
British short
fox,
animation?
and the horse is making the rounds. I've heard it's made the
Okay.
rounds. I was sending.
no, you see,
Alright.
this doesn't make sense to me. This doesn't make sense to me. Outstanding British film because the Irish are not British, and they, at least the Irish people I know, will proudly say that they are not British. They will say they are Irish.
I mean, not
This is Ireland, not Northern Ireland,
Yes,
right?
this is
Joe?
Ireland.
Not even after Sun. After Sun, if it's after Sun, what? Because I was gonna say after Sun. That would be really interesting. After Nicola Sturgeon stepped down, and then after Sun was outstanding British movie, Scottish movie, by the way.
I mean, as much as they won't like it, the Scottish are still British.
So far.
So far,
So
yes.
far.
We'll have a Gones Kexit. No.
Some interesting movies here, though, guys. Empire of Light getting some love. I know that was quite critically panned
Yeah.
by quite a few. Although I've seen some positive reviews recently
Yes.
as well.
Bruce,
For it.
Bruce, shout out to Bruce. Bruce said
Bruce,
said that if Babylon was the scream, this was a whisper. So it's the same love for movies, but this is more contained apparently. Empire of Light. Good luck to you, Leo Grande. You should check because it's a great turn by Emma Thompson, and it's a two-hander,
Yeah, it looks quite good.
one room.
Yeah.
And talking about Emma Thompson, she was very good in Matilda as
Oh,
well.
yes,
That was a movie that I was shocked by just how good it was. Like the production design on this. Did it get a nomination? No, it
No,
didn't. So I
no.
think it really deserved a nomination.
Illalo.
If we really want to push like a British film, nominated for best production design, because the production design on Matilda the musical was excellent, and Emma Thompson was exceptional as Strangebull. Living, no one has watched it here, right, guys?
Not
Not
yet,
no,
not yet.
unfortunately.
I've been so looking forward to that movie. See how they run. I have no idea about that. Haven't watched it. Oh, Agatha Christie's.
I've heard very different things
Interesting.
about see how they run. That's probably the highest review I've ever seen of it.
And very good cast as well.
It's
Yeah.
I think it rips off Wes Anderson as well. It rips off Wes Anderson.
Yeah,
All right.
but I've
Yeah.
heard from a lot of like at least US critics. Oh, that's written by Peter Bradshaw. I would take that with the biggest pinch of salt ever. Like I give 5 stars to Peterloo. No way.
All right.
So see how they run. Swimmers. My parents went to watch it last week, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Was it last week or the week before? I think they did quite like it. And The Wonder. The Wonder was a decent movie.
That's fine.
And of course,
Peter
Always
Bradshaw.
love
Peter
Folks
Bradshaw.
of
Peter
Orson.
Bradshaw again. We did that.
Peter Bradshaw. Let's see. Let's go on it.
that's 4.
4 is it Peter
Let's call it.
Bradshaw?
Richard,
Come on,
go
Pete.
down, go down.
Eh,
Go down.
Peter
Hey,
Bradshaw.
yeah.
There we go.
Hey.
Let's invite
It's
him
a
on the
3 out of
show.
5. It's a 3 out of 5.
Let's invite
It's
him
a
on the
3 out
show.
of 5 movie. So that's best outstanding British film. Best production design. Babylon takes it. Yeah.
Yep.
3 cheers for Babylon.
Yep.
Best director. Edward Berger for All Quiet on the Western
Interesting.
Front.
Interesting.
Hey.
Over. That's tough.
But I'm sorry, but
Hey.
Park Chan-wook I would have given it to. And I mean, so not for the bias, but I would have given it to Park Chan-wook. Despite
I think Decision to Leave is definitely the best directed movie on that list. Let's put it that way.
but stuff. I haven't seen Woman King yet.
That's it's fine. No, actually, no. The Woman King is good. I couldn't say it's fine. The Woman King is good, but I don't think it's best director good.
This is a tough one. And then again,
This is a tough one, huh?
best makeup,
Because then you've got the Daniels as well. I mean,
best makeup and
just
best
mentioned
makeup
them.
and hair. Why not the whale? Why not the whale? Why not
or All
Matilda?
Quiet on the Western Front.
Or the Batman.
Or the
anything.
Or even
Austin Butler got a haircut.
even that's what
Joe,
made them
wait.
win.
Okay. Yeah, I have to get there. So, Joe, tell us. What do you think about that? By the way, for our podcast audio-only listeners, we just showcased that Austin Butler just took Best Actor for Elvis. So, Joe, let us know.
Let's explain to the listeners. Joe is right now going red. He's trying to hold in the. He's building a dam on that anger.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a declaration here, right? Because I made this prediction back when like the Oscar noms first came out, but I'm gonna make this declaration. I am not personally a religious man. I'm very much an atheist. I respect anyone that has faith or they choose to follow any kind of religious dogma. That's completely up to them. But this shit right here is proof that there is no God. Okay, that's all the proof I need, because come March 14th, he's going to walk away with the Oscar for Best Actor, and
Yes, he is.
there's so many, like every other person in that list. And I've seen 3 out of the 5 on that list who are there. And in all 3, those are better, more deserving performances.
Oh my god. I knew what was coming, but I still loved, man. Such a good punchline, yeah.
I love it, man. I love it so much.
We had this conversation a while ago. It's imitation versus acting. He was doing a great imitation. He was the best Elvis impersonator that you could probably hire to play at your fucking 50th birthday party.
Still, however, if we have to give a bit of credit to Austin Butler. I'm looking forward to see what he's going to do in Dune. I am looking forward to see how.
I mean, the only reason I am looking forward to it is because Dave Bautista confirmed that he's not doing the Elvis voice in it. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why I'm looking forward.
Did they
to
actually ask him about it?
Yes.
Oh my god.
We love you, Dave Bautista. Please be on our podcast.
Oh, thank you, Dave Bautista. That was amazing. Yahasa and Paul Mescal just for the final sequence alone, man.
True.
Oh,
Even
I would celebrate it
Brendan
so much,
Fraser
man.
in The Whale is fucking exceptional. Like,
true.
even if you don't like the film, you will look at Fraser's performance and you'll be like, okay, you did it.
Yeah. All right.
Anyone but Austin Butler, yes.
I mean,
In better news,
This one makes sense.
I like
mean-
how Kate. Can you go up again on Kate Blanchett? So basically, there's a photo of Kate Blanchett for the audience. Like, no shit, guys.
That's
I had to win
her
it.
reaction to Austin Butler winning.
No shit. Yeah, exactly. It's like, what the fuck?
did Andrea Riseborough get the nomination? No, she
No,
didn't.
no.
Get the nomination here.
Ana de Armas.
Okay,
No, Kate Blanchett.
that's interesting.
Hands down, Kate Blanchett.
Okay, this is a carry. And best film, guys. To conclude, it's All Quiet on the Western Front.
As
taking the win.
long as it wasn't Elvis.
And
That is
Andrea, as 2023 gathers pace and you're joining us from Malta, we have a small favor to ask. We're reading from The Guardian, guys, that's why. But do donate to The Guardian. Not to Pete Bread Show, but to The Guardian.
true. This is a shocker, All Quiet on the Western Front. I'm very happy, very, very happy about it because I really liked it. But it's a big shocker.
All this anti-German sentiment.
However, not everyone was too happy with the winners at the BAFTAs.
That's a lot of white
Because-
people.
It's lots of white people.
It's a lot of white people.
A lot of
Look
white
at this,
people.
guys.
That's
This
like my family
is-
portrait. That's a lot of white people.
A lot of white people. Look at this photo. I've been meaning to show this photo for ages. It's like literally everyone is either, I think, German, American,
Irish.
English, Irish, any Scottish
There-
we
yeah,
mentioned?
Charlotte Wells.
Australian with Baz Luhrmann.
Australian. Any maybe possibly some Canadians there as well. But yeah,
Could
that's
be.
pretty much it.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
look, Britain,
Yeah.
Britain is not really doing so well, especially with its current cultural climate. Let's say that. Secondly, I think it also depends why. Look, Kate Blanchett deserved to win. So Viola Davis notwithstanding, Michelle Yeoh notwithstanding, Kate Blanchett deserves to win.
Yeah.
But again, there's what's worrying me is: are you going to give the award to a black actress or an Asian actress as a sense of token, or because she deserved it? And
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, Viola Davis deserves it because she gives her all in the performance. Michelle Yeoh deserves it because she gives her all in the she gave her all in the performance. We've seen it. Dolly De Leon as well. So this is a question that we have to ask.
Angela Bassett as well.
It's true, but this is a question we have to ask. Are we giving this as a token, which is almost too little too late? You know, Angela Bassett should have won ages ago. And now it's like, maybe it is a sense of saying, okay, it's two ways you can see it. It's a way to say we're making our job, so let's start from the first step. There has to be a first step somehow.
It's true, and the nominations were quite diverse because I saw there was Till nominated as well. There with Danielle Deadwyler. There was Michelle Yeoh here nominated. Viola Davis nominated for Best Actress. It's just the winners that's the issue.
Yeah.
It's like literally every winner is white, which is a bit awkward, right?
It's awkward, but then, like as Frank is saying, objectively, were they the best winners?
For example, with regard to Best Supporting Actress, I would say Angela Bassett would have deserved the win.
I haven't
seen it, but
so
Because the awkward thing is even Best Foreign Language Movie, it's won by Germans. Which, in my opinion, was the best movie of that list.
But then again, there's
It's a bit awkward, right?
but the Oscars at least took away the best foreign film, because what's happened here also, it's interesting. It won not only best film not in the English language, it also won the best film. So which is kind of
yeah,
redundant then to have it win both awards.
That's very true. I don't. It's like with Parasite, right? It isn't.
No,
Parasite wins best movie.
Parasite. That's I think that's the first movie that won best movie after they scrapped the best foreign movie. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But
it is a very awkward list of people who won.
Then
right?
again, guys, like
Yeah.
now I'm going to check to say the flip side. We're still not really exposed to diverse movies whatsoever, because so far we only know Korean movies, Indian movies, African American movies, and like I told you, did you know that there was Cairo Station, an Egyptian movie? Did you know that there was a Senegalian movie? You know,
yeah.
Atlantics. So either
Too true. We're not exposed to these kinds of movies.
It's because of them. It's because of the markets. The biggest market we're exposed to in Europe is Hollywood and the European market.
For example, speaking of the Woman King, Joe. Why wasn't it? It wasn't directed by an African director, I would say, because that would even be closer to home. It is an African story, right? Is it from Kenya? Which is
Yes, it is a distinctly African story.
Don't get me wrong.
It's all based in Africa.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, these stories are should be told. So let's objectively, these stories should be told. Then again, if we were to be even more objective, because then again, I think we have to give this to Marvel, that Moon Knight was directed by someone who with an Arabic background made sense.
Yes, 100%.
Despite it obviously being whitewashed, being Marvel and Kevin Feige being the gatekeeper, but again, I still feel that there's still a glass ceiling to be broken.
I mean, the Woman King it's a Western depiction of an African story, because to my knowledge, every single person in the film is from the Western world.
Western world,
their heritage is from Africa.
The director was Gina Prince Bythewood.
Yes.
She did Old Guard,
Love and Basketball as
Beyond
well.
the
no?
Lights, Love and Basketball. Yeah.
Honestly, though, guys, I think we're the least qualified people to speak about this. We're three white guys.
absolutely.
That's also very true.
Absolutely the least qualified.
That's also very true.
But I feel like if I want to be a good ally, I would have given the Woman King to a truly African director. Till for me it's fine because it's an American story. It's an African American story. But if it were me producing the movie, why not then pick up like I said, the best comparison is Moon Knight when having what's his name again, Mohammed Diab.
Yeah.
So there are African and like even Atlantics. The guy, I think it was a guy who did Atlantics. That's already one. There's also the Nigerian movies. So there is the talent. Then again, I have to say maybe it's a good first step, because it is there. Who calls the shots at the end of the day? Because there's that kind of gatekeeping.
And to be fair, Franco, recently I've seen some diversity. At least we are getting a lot of Turkish series on Netflix. Netflix really pushes Turkish series here, what I noticed.
Yep.
So we are getting some. And for example, my girlfriend, who's no cinephile, she was watching a Kuwaiti series on Netflix.
Of course.
That's already something, right?
Of course. Which
Netflix really helps with that.
Which pisses me off again. Going back to why is there still not a if that's I think I should make it a point on Thursday. Ask him, listen, what's your long-term plan? Do you plan to have a Maltese TV series, or you're still planning to get foreign productions here in Malta? There's no idea of it. Anyway, that's something more personal. But getting back to to this one, there's diversity, lots of diversity. I was surprised. Netflix, I said, I started to getting lost in a rabbit hole by how much African movies are there. They're not put up, even the but at least they do put Turkish, All
right, guys. I think we can conclude the news there, because we have a lot of reviews to go through. So that's it for the news, guys. Let us know, what did you think about the DG Awards? Did you agree with the winners there, with Everything Everywhere All at Once getting the best directors, the Daniels? I think it's well deserved. And what did you think about the BAFTAs? Do you agree that Elvis should, apart from winning Best Actor, should also win Best Editing, should win Best... Was it nominated for Best Sound?
Yes,
Don't know if it was. Should it win best film, for example? I think it should. I think Baz Luhrmann deserves the best film for that.
Just comment yes to piss off Joe.
Let us know. Just comment yes to piss off Joe, exactly. Let us know in the comment section below. Okay, let's move on now, guys, to the reviews, because this week we have a lot to review. And I'm going to go to my man Joe, who's still recovering from those comments on Elvis. But he's free to release his rage through his review on God of War Ragnarok. Joe, take it away.
I'm not sure whether I should feel happy that I don't have partners or lonely that I don't have one. Everyone's making fools for their partners and I'm still here playing Mahjong Candy. Hello. Mela, we're going to continue Ad Lib Podcast on my own because they ditched me for their girlfriends. Single life forever.
So yeah, excellent segue by Andrea there, because I'm late to the party, but I have finally finished God of War Ragnarok. And I'm happy to report, in short, that it's great. I don't know... It's the way I think about it is kind of how I feel about The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part 2, where both are fantastic, both incredible games. The first one is incredibly well thought out and like so tight the way it's done. There isn't like, despite how expansive it is, there isn't a wasted story moment in God of War, the 2018 release. In Ragnarok, it's much bigger. It's like, in terms of scale, it's huge. In terms of like the realms you can visit as well. And even just in its writing, the story is much bigger, much higher stakes this time. And that's why there's a middle segment where it feels not disjointed, but a little bit disconnected from itself. But then, I mean, its final hour is just, it's balls to the wall action and emotion, and just the best parts of it are all in that last hour. And Andrea, I remember you saying you were surprised by how emotional the first game was. This one, especially that last hour, dials that up to 11 on the emotional side. I thought I was going to predict where the game was going to go fairly early on, but it kind of zigged and it zagged, and it ended up in a place where at first I wasn't totally content with, but then the game kind of like goes into a little bit of an epilogue, and you get the decision that they made for it, and it leaves it, like, without spoiling anything, it leaves it quite wide open now. It also leaves it to a point where Sony Santa Monica could go, you know what, no, we're done with God of War. This could be the end, but there's also room for it to expand. It's great. I'll definitely keep playing it because there's a lot of end game stuff that is still left over to do, like quests and stuff, just because the gameplay is so damn fun. It'll definitely keep me playing for a little while longer. But for me, with 2018 being one of my favorite PS4 games specifically ever.
Definitely.
This didn't raise the bar, it met the bar perfectly. I would say the first one is just an all-round masterpiece, because it's so tight and so well done, and this, in terms of its ambition, is also on a masterpiece level. It's probably it's definitely not as tight as the first one is, but that's just because it is so much bigger and so much more ambitious. Like, I can't describe the scale at which this goes to, both like visually and story-wise, but I was very, very happy with my playthrough of God of War Ragnarok, and I can't recommend it enough, the series enough, to anyone that has a PlayStation.
Joe, one question about it. Is it worth spending 499
Yes.
euros on a PlayStation and 60 euros on the
Yes.
game to play it?
Yes. I mean, a friend of mine got it on PlayStation 4 because he has a PS4 Pro.
I don't want to play this on a PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I mean,
though.
like, with the PlayStation 4, apart from the fact it sounds like Top Gun Maverick is happening in your living room. On the PS5,
Right.
like something that these first-party developers tend to do, like Naughty Dog and Sony Santa Monica, there isn't a single blip in this game. I never had a frame dip. I never had pop-ins. I never had any kind of input lag. I didn't have a single glitch. Nothing. It's so polished and well done, and it screams on the PS5 and on a good TV. Andrea, I can't imagine you, like, again, because the soundtrack by Bear McCreary is incredible, I can't imagine what it will sound like through your speakers. I played, actually, the last 2 hours of the game. When I finished it, I've got the PS5 DualSense headphones, which support the 3D audio, and it was incredible hearing it through really good headphones. So I can't imagine what it's like through a good sound system.
First thing I did, Joe, when I arrived here and I set up my PlayStation 4 was play the first 2 hours of God of War, the 2018
So
one.
good.
And listening to that soundtrack.
Incredible
on it
soundtrack.
Was, so good. So good, man. But yeah. Anything else, Joe, to say about God of War?
No,
Ragnarok?
it's great. They really pulled it off. I had high expectations and they were met. It's a great game, and it's definitely not the first and last time I've played it. I will definitely play through again.
Straight, damn straight. All right, so that is God of War Ragnarok. Franco, would a game like this interest you into getting into?
As we've already established,
Gaming.
Minish gamer, but no, I used to watch my brother play it, but I think I'm past the gaming period of my life. But who knows? Maybe I'll get
the old God of
never too
Wars, Franco.
the old God of Wars. I played the first 3 God of Wars,
Oh, they were so
the
good.
classic ones.
Fantastic
The new ones, maybe if I'll just when I'm in the mood, I might get into it. Especially God of War. God of War is a favorite series of mine, and I can't wait to see
Joe.
I can't wait to see the TV adaptation of it.
Yeah, with Amazon. So,
We'll see.
that's a worry. Joe, I wanted to ask you one last question about this. Because I see a lot of people saying that the old God of War were good games but didn't have good stories. While these new God of War, I really disagree with that.
vehemently disagree with that statement.
I think people are forgetting how good the storytelling was.
I think because the main thing that you went to play the original 3 God of War games for was that spectacle of being an absolute savage and quite literally ripping the heads off gods. That was the best part about those games. And the stories were a lot simpler. Man done bad by God, therefore gets revenge on God. Extremely simple. The new ones, there's a lot more to them, admittedly. So I think that's why people kind of look down their noses at it. Because it's kind of like the original 3 God of War games. It's nice because they've matured with their audience, because those were the ones they appeal more to an angsty teenager that just wants to fucking I just want to fucking kill things all the time. It's that kind of thing. And then now the new ones are more like the pensive, I'm wise and I'm older, but I can also kill you.
True. Appropriate for our age,
yes.
To be fair.
Yes.
Okay, so that is God of War Ragnarok. Joe, a movie you got to watch at the cinema was M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin.
Yes.
Tell us, what did you think about that?
Funny how it could connect to God of War Ragnarok, because after seeing his performance in this film and the kind of intimidating gentleness that this man can portray,
I see where this is
Dave
going.
Bautista would be an excellent pick for Kratos in a God of War adaptation. Because especially in and then we get into Knock at the Cabin. Knock at the Cabin is the new M. Night Shyamalan movie. My relationship with Shyamalan, I think, probably everyone's, is slightly complicated. I actually tend to give him a bit more respect than most people do. People hate The Village. I think The Village is pretty good. People think that Signs is dumb. I think Signs is a really good, really entertaining film. I like him because he's the director. He directs with purpose. He sets out to make what he wants to make. He's not pretentious. And I think as well, recently his films, the dialogue has been attacked, and the way people deliver dialogue. I know people complained about that on Old. But it's completely on purpose. It's not an accident that they're delivering the dialogue like this, in this weird way, with this kind of sincerity. If you compare it to someone like Yorgos Lanthimos and the dialogue in films like The Lobster and The Killing of a Sacred Deer, it's extremely deliberate, and it's not for everyone, but when it works, it works. Now, in Knock at the Cabin, it's good because although there is that kind of hyper-sincerity in the dialogue, it's not as bad as, say, Old. But anyway, it's about a couple who happen to be a gay couple, that they go vacationing with their daughter Wen, and they are confronted by 4 strangers who say that they must make a very difficult choice in order to avert the apocalypse. This is based on the book, which is called The Cabin at the End of the World. Haven't read the book, but to my understanding, Shyamalan took quite a few liberties, especially with the message and the ending of this film. But yeah, to come back to the Dave Bautista of it all, it's really interesting, his character in this film, because obviously Dave Bautista is this huge 6'6" muscle man who, at least I grew up watching him pick people up above his head and slamming them into the ground when he used to do the Bautista bomb.
I can see from the poster how huge he is.
Yeah, I really like the choices that he's making with his career, because he clearly loves being an actor and he clearly wants to work with interesting people. That's why he's worked now twice with Denis Villeneuve in Blade Runner 2049 and now on Dune and in Dune Part 2. And now he's done this with Shyamalan. And actually, I listened to an interview with Shyamalan recently about this film. And he said when he was reading the book and the script that this was based on, because it was a spec script at first, written around the time the book was released. But Shyamalan got this script off Universal and he kind of rewrote it himself. But he said he was kind of thinking to himself, how am I going to find someone that is so physically imposing, but so tender and polite and non-threatening verbally at the same time? It's impossible. But then he said he saw Bautista's performance in that opening bit of Blade Runner 2049, and he was like, that's my guy. That's a person who's capable of this. And I have to say, he's one of the best parts about the film. Again, the poster sells it, and I think the trailers kind of sell it as these 4 people are extremely sinister, but there's gonna be a curveball there, because again, the earnestness that Batista's able to put into the performance and the character that he's got, and he's definitely got the best character as well, is extremely impressive for someone who I think a lot of people wouldn't consider a better actor. Now, my thoughts on the film, I like it. I probably agree with the rating it's got there on IMDb, maybe actually slightly higher. It's probably somewhere between a 6.7 and a 7 on 10, because it's good, and like especially like the camera work and the direction is fantastic. For me, it just kind of towards the end, it actually kind of tied up a bit too quickly. For me, it kind of felt a little bit contrived the way it kind of tied up so fast at the end of the film. Now it's got a very...
Is it too short, Joe?
It is, I think. It's a bit too short, because you spend a lot of the film... you have to kind of buy into the film from the word go, because this couple are in the situation within the first 3 minutes of the film. It's like, it's straight into the action, doesn't waste any time, and you have to buy in quickly to the premise of the film. But again, I just feel like the third act resolution is very, very fast, the way it comes around. And that was my biggest problem with it. The cast all over are very good. I was actually surprised to see Rupert Grint, otherwise known as Ron Weasley.
Ronald Weasley.
He's in this, and he's doing an American accent, and he's really good.
Okay.
Like someone who I'd never rated as an actor before. I was really pleasantly surprised with him.
But he did...
Actually, I do recommend the film, because people are going to have different opinions of it. Like, I've seen some people that absolutely love it. I've seen more people like me who are like, it's good, but it's got some issues. And there's going to be people that hate it because they see M. Night Shyamalan and they decide to hate it. But it's good, and it's good that, one, this is a film not coming straight to streaming and it's going out in cinemas. And it's a film you should see in the cinema, I think. It definitely go with a group of friends, because it's one that's going to bring discussion as well, I think.
Okay,
Franco, you're going to say
I was
something
going to say
before?
he's already worked. Rupert Grint. He's already worked with Shyamalan on the series Servant. So I think that he got already. I think we didn't see. Oh, this is an interesting trivia. You know who Marama Cordet is, right?
No,
she's a Maltese actress.
Who's that, Franco?
Marama Cordet, and she worked with Rupert Grint on a BBC series. Together
Very
with,
cool.
I forgot his Nick Frost. Nick Frost. Yes, the series was called Sick Note.
Andrea, one thing you'll like, Knock at the Cabin, I had to buy in quite quickly just because of what I knew this guy from beforehand. The gay couple is played by Jonathan Groff, for people who know from Glee, from Mindhunter, and Ben Aldridge, which, Andrea, you will know as Asshole Guy from Fleabag.
Oh, okay.
But yes, guys, Knock at the Cabin, I can actually recommend it. I'd be curious to hear what you guys think about it.
So it is a knockout.
Okay.
It's definitely not a waste of time.
I mean, to be fair, no M. Night Shyamalan movies are a waste of time. Because either
they're
they're
always interesting.
so bad they're worth a watch.
Avatar?
Just because of how bad they are. Or else they're super controversial and like lots of people love it, lots of people hate it kind of movie. Or else knockout hit. Okay, Knock at the Cabin. And finally, Joe, you got to watch Women Talking.
Yes.
And what did you think about your time listening to Women Talking?
Women Talking, one of my most anticipated films of the year. I've unfortunately not finished the book yet. I've got, I think, the last 80 or so pages, so not far off, but I had no problem watching the film beforehand. Directed by Sarah Polley, starring quite the ensemble cast of Claire Foy, Rooney Mara, Jessie Buckley, Frances McDormand, Ben Whishaw. Stacked, the cast. And it's basically about women in a Mennonite colony. They come together to decide what they're going to do after a number of them have suffered sexual assaults and attacks at the hands of the men in the colony. This is nominated for Best Picture, and I'll say off the bat, rightly so. It can be a tough watch at times because of the depiction and the descriptions of some of the disgusting acts that the women in this colony have been put through, especially some involving young children. So comes with a trigger warning. If you're not like inclined to listen to these sorts of things and that you find it difficult, probably skip this one. But then at the same time, it's very important, a film like this, because its message is one that will probably stand the test of time. And the best thing that the film achieves, I think, is it doesn't make it about just the women in these colony or a specific woman or anything like that. It's about all women at the end of the day. And the camaraderie that the women get through these conversations and the kind of like, you know, you have to use the word sisterhood in this sense rather than brotherhood, that they get through this experience, it's really, really good. And actually, one of the changes from the book that they made, which involves Ben Whishaw's character, I really, really, really liked. Like, basically his role in all of it, because in the Mennonite colony, women can't read or write, he is the minute taker in their meeting on their discussion of what they do. And the reasons for him being the minute taker will be revealed in the film, why he is a man allowed into this situation and why he actually has respect and empathy amongst the women. He gives a fantastic performance, like,
as always,
by himself, but the whole cast is fantastic. Particularly, I keep saying it about her, and she's one of my favorite actors working today, Jessie Buckley.
Jessie Buckley.
Fantastic. Actually, the person who I thought
she's Irish
not had a
as
weak
well.
performance. Yes, Jessie Buckley is Irish, but the person who I thought not had a weak performance, but kind of had the least depth to the character, was Rooney Mara's character. But she's still great, because I mean, she's Rooney Mara. Claire Foy, brilliant. Frances McDormand doesn't have like the biggest role, but I mean, she's Frances McDormand. She's a producer on this film as well. It's really good, guys. It's not going to win Best Picture, but it's good that it's nominated. I would have loved to have seen a nomination for Sarah Polley as Best Director, because it is a fantastically directed film. Now, I really hate to think that this film, so far it hasn't happened, but that's because it hasn't really gotten the widest release yet. I think a lot of people are going to take this film, particularly people on the Andrew Tate side of the argument, and they're going to claim that it's preachy and it hates men and whatever. It doesn't, and that's what it kind of portrays in Ben Whishaw's character. It's not an attack on men, it's an attack on a situation. And if you come out of this movie thinking it's preachy and it's overdramatic, there's actually a really good line which this film opens with, and it's a line which the book opens with as well, because this is fictional, this film, and as is the book, but they are based on a true story which happened not on a true story, on true events that happened in a Mennonite colony in 2007 in Bolivia. But the statements that this film has and that the book has is, this is an act of female imagination. And I love that line. It's such a good mission statement for the film. I really recommend it. I hope you guys get to see it. It doesn't outstay its welcome at 1 hour and 44 minutes. It's paced really, really well. And actually, there's a surprising amount of humor in the film. There are some genuine laughs to be had amongst some of the misery. So it's not like full-on feel-bad cinema. A lot of it's very, very touching as well. Yeah, I recommend Women Talking.
It's a great contrast. Speaking about a community which is sort of, so to speak, backwards in their traditions and outlooks towards women. Within especially 2010, when did the Me Too movement start? I think it was it's had gained momentum 2012 or even later.
Yeah, something like that, 2012, 2013.
It's very interesting. So that's a really great contrast. I think that also plays a role in this movie to make it a good movie. So looking forward myself.
Sure. Okay. Question is, when will it come out in Malta?
I really hope you guys get it, because it's worth a trip to the cinema for.
Awesome.
Doesn't really sound like a cinema movie though, Joe, right? Or
no, because it's wonderfully shot. Like it's nice to look at on a big screen.
Okay. Interesting. We'll see if it comes out in Malta or not.
Hopefully.
Hopefully it does.
A lot of men in Malta could take a lot of lessons from this film.
Yep.
This and She Said. Put them after each other.
Good companion pieces.
Clean out the Andrew Tate from them. All right. So that was Joe's review for Women Talking, a movie that I know both me and Franco are really looking forward to watching. So Joe was actually quite positive in all three of his reviews, right? Because I guess Joe loved God of War Ragnarok. He did quite like Knock at the Cabin, and you seem to love Women Talking. Unfortunately, I cannot be as positive in my upcoming review because last Friday, I was excited for this. I went to the 6 p.m. screening of Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. And I was really hyped for this because, let me be clear about this. Ant-Man 1, excellent movie. I really, really, really like Paul Rudd. His character is set up really well. He's super likable. Paul Rudd has charisma for days. He is so good in his role. He's not a brilliant actor. He's good for that role. He's perfect. He's made for that role. Ant-Man 1, lovely little family heist drama movie. Small story, nothing too big, just what we needed. Palate cleanser. Ant-Man 2, okay, losing a bit of the love we had for the first movie, but still okay movie. I mean, it's a possible 6 out of 10, 3 out of 5 movie. Now I knew what Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania was going to be. I knew it was going to be a setup for Phase 5. I knew it was going to be an introduction. Well, we've already seen him before in Loki. But I knew that it was going to be the big introduction on the big screen for the big villain, the big bad guy, Kang the Conqueror. So I knew all of that getting into it. But I did have some slight hope that Paul Rudd could still work his magic and somehow keep his likable persona in this movie. Unfortunately, I said it in my TikTok review and I'll say it here. This is not an Ant-Man movie. It's not an Ant-Man movie. It is a Quantum Realm movie. Because Ant-Man is relegated to a bit part role in his own movie. And I get into an Ant-Man movie excited to see Paul Rudd. Because I like Paul Rudd. I like his character. I like, he's very likable. I just want to see him. No, obviously not just him, but he's just a small bit part role. And, to make matters even worse, there is the Wasp in the title. Ant-Man and the Wasp. And the Wasp does literally nothing all movie except for one small sequence at the end. So what's the point of mentioning this as Ant-Man and the Wasp when the whole focus of this movie is on the Quantum Realm? So that's part one.
Quick interruption. And right now for the listeners, this is all music to Joe's ears right now. He's like,
took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, exactly. He has to change his his pens because he wet himself.
I wish I could have a beer right now and just listen to this.
Now, people will say, okay, but it's a Marvel movie. Yes, it's a Marvel movie. And, I go to watch a movie with certain expectations, right? I expect to see at least some kind of plot. It doesn't have to be Banshees of Inisherin, but I expect to see at least some kind of plot, some kind of human emotion, and this is why the Martin Scorsese's quote came to mind when I started thinking about this movie, because Martin Scorsese says that there is no human emotion. This is not a cinema of humans. It is a theme park ride. And I think some people misinterpreted why I posted it. I didn't post it because I hate every single Marvel movie. I don't. I thought Black Panther, Wakanda Forever was a great movie. It was a very good movie. Not great, but good. For example, I really didn't mind Multiverse of Madness. I thought it was a fine movie. It was a fine Sam Raimi movie. Nothing special, but possible. But this was literally exactly what Scorsese said. It is a theme park. It is not the cinema of human emotions. And the reason why I'll repeat this, why I liked Ant-Man 1 so much was because there was a certain kind of emotion. Now, yes, it was cheesy, campy, yes, 100%. but there were emotions. You liked Paul Rudd. You wanted him to succeed. You wanted him to build a relationship with his daughter. There was that. And this, there are attempts. There are really, really small attempts. And you can see Paul Rudd really trying his hardest. But in my TikTok review, I said there's 5 layers of CGI clusterfuck in the way. And I repeat that because it's just CGI. It's just so much CGI, so much going, even just the image you can see here on screen. Like, there's so much going on all the time. Like, you do not have moments of quiet. There are a few moments of quiet, and here I'll get to the few positives I had on the movie. There are some very strong moments between Jonathan Major and Michelle Pfeiffer, when you just let 2 talented actors sit down and talk and interact with each other like normal. No, I know, obviously, we're talking about Kang the Conqueror. He's not a normal human being, but they are interacting with each
like
other.
normal
And
characters.
just those small moments, I was like, yes, some slight attempt at character development, building a kind of relationship, which, will be lead to betrayal later on. That was great, because Jonathan Majors is a bloody talented actor. He is so good, and I'm so excited for Creed 3, watching this movie, because you can tell this is a talented actor who is wasted on this, because he is acting his heart out, and you cannot take his performance seriously, because in the background you have 10,000 CGI monsters jumping around and whatever the fuck they're doing. And same thing with Michelle Pfeiffer. Brilliant actress, one of my favorite actors. But again, and her performance, she is also acting her heart out. She is so good in this. Michelle Pfeiffer is brilliant in this. The fact that both of them can show emotions with just a green screen at their back is proof that they are truly talented actors. But it's so hard. It was a tough watch. I mean, yeah, Jonathan Majors was good. It's a very promising start for him. Kang looks like an interesting villain, because he has this certain charisma, and he has this certain, like, he beguiles you, right? He makes you think he's likable, he's nice, but then he has these strong moments of rage and anger. And it's all thanks to Jonathan Major. He's a brilliant, brilliant actor. One of the best right now. So, but as a movie overall, it fails completely. There's no plot, no stakes. Spoilers, you guys care about a slight spoiler?
No, go for it.
There are no consequences to their actions.
There never
There's no,
are.
actually, I'll try and put it without spoil. There are no consequences. But at least in Infinity War, you see something, even though that is ruined in the next movie. But at least there was some kind of consequence and emotion, which is brought out through those consequences. In this, there is literally not. They don't even try. And then, whatever, kill Ant-Man, kill Scott Lang, and then bring him back in the next movie. Whatever, it's in the quantum realm. You can do whatever you want. But at least do something, man. There were so many opportunities where you could create some drama, and they were completely forgotten. Just so they can push the next. And I'm going to conclude with these last 2 comments. Have you guys seen MODOK in this?
Illallo.
No.
I saw a picture of it.
Don't see it tonight, because you're going to have nightmares if you see, because those are the visuals. The CGI used for MODOK are some of the worst CGI I've ever seen in my life, honestly. And the only thing I could think of as I was looking at MODOK was Joe saying,
Spy Kids 4.
"This is Spy Kids. This is Spy Kids." It's oh.
Wow, that's
I
a
mean-
bad MODOK.
I told you not to look at it because
Dad,
you won't have
what the
nightmares now.
hell
So
is
don't blame
going
me
on there?
And
for
it's not
not sleeping
even Patton
tonight.
Oswalt, right? It's not Patton Oswalt.
I was because the Patton Oswalt MODOK series is actually really funny. Like,
This is just,
Anyway,
ugh.
Andrea, if you want a palette cleanser with Jonathan Majors, check out Lovecraft Country.
I've heard good
Yeah,
things
I've-
about that.
had that on my list, Frank, but that's even worse than the Empty Man. It's been on my list for such a long time, and
But Lovecraft
I've been
Country,
meaning to watch it. It's on my list. It's on my list.
it's a good palette
Yes.
cleanser.
I need to watch it.
But I have to comment, the Korean is not good. Eh? there's the
Okay.
there's one character I could hear is like there's the younger character, the younger woman has Korean is good. But the other character, apparently, she's the same Korean that was in Black Panther.
So.
And they did make a comment about her character.
Okay.
Next.
So, now forgive me because now I'm a little angry and pissed off and I need to just say a quick comment about something that I liked today. And that was Hello Tomorrow. So, if there's a series, if you've been meaning to start a series which is like 30-35 minutes long episodes, this is it. I know it got quite some criticism from certain critics. I mentioned this at the start. I've watched 3 episodes so far. Only 3 episodes are available on Apple TV+. But from what I've seen so far, I think this is a perfectly fine series. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it has its issues, which I'll get into in a bit. But first of all, the production design. What a sigh of relief. Everything is practical. The robots are practical. The floating cars are practical. They had people walking around with robots and then they just edited out the people walking around with the robots. Because I looked this up. Everything is practical. Everything is solid, man. Just something that's solid. And after watching Ant-Man with everything being CGI and nothing feeling or looking real and the volume feeling so fake, watching something like Hello Tomorrow was a sigh of relief. Because everything feels real. Everything feels lived in. Everything feels like you can reach out and touch it. So the production design in Hello Tomorrow is beautiful. It's set in the 50s, but it's like a retro futuristic 50s. So, for example, you go to a bar and there's a robot waitress there. It reminded me a lot of the opening of Fallout 4. If you've played Fallout 4, you remember the opening was prior to the atomic bomb landing. You remember there was like the salesman as well. Trying to sell them to go to the fallout shelters. And this is basically these salesmen walking around trying to sell them property on the moon. Because apparently going on the moon is something that's done in this world, in this retro-futuristic 50s. The concept is great. And I was really excited for this series, having heard about this concept. And so far, I think, having watched 3 episodes, like an hour and a half so far in total, it's really well done. I mean, again, production design is beautiful. It's beautifully shot. There are some really good shots here. And I have to say that, damn, Billy Crudup is really, really, really good in this. He really, really pulls off the salesman who can smile and at the same time take all your money. And you know he's taking your money. And you know this is probably a con, but his smile and his like really intelligent comments are enough to just beguile you and give him all your money. It's so well done. It's really well done. And there is the opening scene where he shows off like his skills as a salesman is brilliantly done. My issues with it, which I think is probably why critics who watched the whole thing maybe gave it a lower rating than I will give it so far, is I'm a little worried about the plot, because the plot really hasn't developed that much. It's taken its time to build up Billy Crudup as Jack Billings, and seeing like his relationship develop with his son. That's all fine, but now I need some kind of plot, right, to push the story forward. And so far there hasn't been much plot. So I'll be interested to see how the plot develops. But so far, for what we've got, 3 episodes in, I'm really, really enjoying it. I think it's really well done. So that's Hello Tomorrow. Looking forward to watching the next episode next week. So that's me. Okay, moving on now. Franco, you will take over with the review on Infinity Pool.
Well, I was going to say, Apple TV has quite some good series. Hello Tomorrow, For All Mankind, Blackbirds, and obviously Severance as well. So, but
Ted Lasso
as well. But our review is for Infinity Pool, Brendan Cronenberg's 3rd outing as a director. The story is about James Foster, an apparently failed author on holiday with his wife in the fictional country of Latolka. Latolka, right? Yes, sorry, Latolka. Apologies to the people of Latolka. And and he crosses path with a fan played by Mia Goth, forgot her character's name, That's how good she is, because I know I was watching Biagot, which in it is very good. I think I have to say, comment also on Alexander Skarsgård's performances from the hulking beast that was Northman to become the cowering. I'm hesitant to call him a victim because of it's almost like he wanted it, but then again he redeemed himself at the end of the movie. So spoilers ahead for people who haven't seen Infinity Pool yet. And then he gets in with the sort of wrong crowd, and after he discovers that in the country of Latolka you can get doubled for a crime that you commit in the country, obviously with a high price tag for it. So as you notice, there's already a comment about class, about rich people versus poor people. There's also there are many satirical elements, and there's a streak of black humor in it as well. I mean, there are some moments where you laugh out loud, even though it's a very like, what's happening right now, you know? So I have to say, the thing that's really resonated with me is that David Cronenberg used analog techniques to do his, for example, in the doubling sequence. It's fucking amazing.
Really good.
With all those colors, and it's like a gate. It's like when Stanley Kubrick did the Gateway sequence in 2001. I know it's a bit of a reach to make a comparison, but it's that kind of technique. Plus, I mean, here goes the trivia. He used what's called a dichroic filter on the lens, and he was just putting lights around when there's also like the orgy scene and other scenes as well. It's a great production design as well. It's like I was searching if Latolka is actually a real place, because they also have the signs and the languages and their own traditions. It didn't reach its full potential. I preferred it more than Possessor, unlike Andrea, but I'm seeing a director that who's finding his voice. It's very well checking out, especially technically. They're afraid that there is something missing, that it could have gone how shall I say? It could have done more with the material that it got, which is very good material, makes very great commentary. And I also opened the floor to discussion, because we had a great discussion online. I agree with Joe. Like I'm personally, I like the ending. The ending hits home, especially with the fact how Alexander Skarsgård's character goes through a very horrible, insane, like batshit crazy journey to rediscover his own sense of identity. While the rest of Miyagot's group basically is just like, oh, it's just another day in the week, it's just another holiday. Went for a holiday, had some fun, and now we're back to real life, What do you guys think?
I mean, for me, it's about the pitfalls of power and fame and the arrogance that can come with it. And that's why James gets not his redemption, but like his comeuppance at the end of he was the most, like, for lack of a term, normal person amongst the bad crowd. And he wasn't even the richest because he married rich, and he wasn't successful, and he gets his bubble burst about having actual fans of his writing as well. And that's where he has that real realization, that kind of stare yourself in the mirror kind of moment of, I'm just kind of like a phony in all of this. I'm just a regular, and I don't deserve to get out of it.
I think the movie is trying to make lots of comments about identity, aspirations, culture appropriation, class. So maybe that is what was working against it, because there's so much to pick in this movie. It's rich thematically, also dense.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I agree that it doesn't stick the landing as much as it could, but it's again hugely impressive for a young writer-director to be doing this kind of stuff on only their third film, especially visually and compositionally.
very
It's
ambitious.
incredible.
100%. No, on that, I 100% agree. Like, visually, this is a very, very mature movie. And, like, the stuff he does here with the camera, with the visuals are incredible. The opening scene, for example, such a beautifully shot scene.
Yes.
It's the kind of stuff where you stand up and start clapping and say, yes. Oh, something fresh, something new.
I want to watch it in.
Like, I turned to my girlfriend, told her, yes, that's so good, man. I
I
love
want
it.
to watch it in cinemas. Is it just Patrick's Creative?
I'd love to see
because
this.
in big screen.
I'd love to see this in the cinemas.
There's that.
It'd be very good on a big screen.
You saw it on big screen, Joe?
No, I wish.
Okay.
I saw it on my TV at home.
Oh yeah,
It'd be incredible in the cinema.
It's available. It's available on streaming. Incredible on cinema. Well, you know, I said in the chat between us three before we recorded, I would love to see the side of the residents of La Torca now, because we've seen the rich side, and maybe that is also which works against it. But now I want to see, like, imagine they do a revolution now, because of all these compounds, these morally corrupt, while the people of the residents of La Torca, you see the oppression. And to be honest, it's the country itself that gives a get out of jail card to these rich people.
Yes.
With the corruption that it makes, it's like luxury tourism, which also hits close to home if I were to be honest, right? Because we're all portraying what is a luxury tourism, and then like leave a whole fucking mess in the country, and then just like, well, it's just another tourist, That's already like a good comment that I made. But Andrea said that
So,
go for it. Sorry.
let's get into it. So, a few days ago, I watched Possessor. I had no expectations for Possessor, and I really, really liked it. Like, I loved Possessor. Again, visuals brilliant. There was one thing I wanted out of Possessor. I wanted more. Like, it was just a small bit of a world that I really, really wanted to know more about.
So right.
And it's a little bit, I wouldn't say it's the same thing here, because my issues are a bit different, but there is a bit of that as well. Because Possessor, the world is so bloody interesting and so fascinating. It could be just the lover of sci-fi in me, where that happened. But I really like Possessor, so keep that in mind. And keep in mind also, I mentioned this already when we had the satire episode with Matt Bonanno, that I've been watching so many movies and series where, rich people bad. It's like, yes, no one hates the rich as much as I do. My girlfriend can attest. I hate the rich. Eat the rich, man. Fuck the rich. Fuck capitalism. But I want my entertainment to be a bit more diverse as well. So there is that as well. And there were some moments in this movie where I was like, okay, this is a bit too on the nose. It's like, okay, it's clear. There is no intention for subtlety here. That's quite clear. No one's trying to be subtle here. And I accept that and I understand that. But yeah, I did feel that, like Franco said, there are a lot of themes, a lot of very interesting themes, like the cultural appropriation, the Chinese restaurant.
Oh my
So
God!
good.
But
so such a smart
and
decision.
it goes from level to level to level. At first, it's
From level to level,
because
exactly. Exactly.
when they showed the Jews, ilalo, man. So it's not offensive for the sake of being offensive. Mind you, I feel I wrote down that it's apparently this country is so culturally deprived that their only access to other cultures is performers. But is it also to make other cultures more digestible to the elite, to the rich and powerful people? Because for all the like
I think so, yes, 100%.
for all
100%.
that's why everything is all so performative. Even there's ritual involved. Even the killings, even the justice, so performances.
Yeah.
There's actually no sense of justice in this movie, and then maybe that's what hits home even more to James Foster. Jamesy, by the way.
Jamesy! Oh. And I mean, my girlfriend noticed throughout the movie, watching me,
My God,
Mesmerizing.
yeah.
like I would do anything for her. Like I'd do all of those things and more if Mia Goth came to tell me to.
Sorry, Florence Pugh, you've got good competition, okay? There's
yeah, Florence Pugh has got very good competition. I think it's an interesting competition between Florence Pugh and Mia Goth.
Can I say I have to give credit to Alexander Skarsgård. I think this is a great pro for this movie is how you see this man, this muscular man that you would expect to be like fighting out of this situation to be reduced to this tiny little man. He's a child.
He's got nothing going for him.
So I mean, it makes sense then. Makes sense that she goes like, Jamesy, and she was treating him like a child, man.
He's narcissistic. He's arrogant. Like he's ignorant as well. Like.
And that also my neon cravings were satisfied as well with those sharp bold colors.
Yep.
But speaking of capitalism and our anti-capitalist sentiment, we can go on to Last of Us Episode 6. Because
spoilers.
Spoilers.
That's where I leave. Goodbye. Have a good one. No spoilers. Goodbye. See you. Ciao.
Basically. So.
Oh, good one, Joe. Good
Rage quit. So
Rage quit
our podcast.
Unfortunately,
we're not gonna have him on episode 13.
Joe has not yet watched the episode, so he panicked because of spoilers. So before we get into it, Franco, of course, spoiler alert for obviously
Last of Us
episodes up to episode 6 and obviously episode 6, because now we're going to be talking about episode 6. So Franco, what do you think of episode 6?
You were right. You said it's very emotional. I was gonna cry in the moments where Joel meets his brother again, Tommy.
The cry, right?
Oh,
Tommy, that was where did that cry come from? Like, yeah, there's levels of actors, like there's levels of talent, but that cry isn't just a normal cry.
No.
Such a powerful moment.
But it is the same. If I would make a comparison, you know, Florence Pugh's cry when she discovers that her sister died. It's such a sincere cry of someone who hasn't seen his brother over what years? How many years now? The outbreak.
I think it's 20 years.
The outbreak happened 2003, right?
The outbreak happened in 2003, yes, and we start off in 2023, 20 years after.
After 20 years, and seeing your brother, not knowing what happened to him, only communicating with him with code, extra. That's exactly the scene. Even you can even see his expression. Pedro Pascal deserves all the credit. Like if he was
100%.
If he was to also not just Pedro Pascal, even Bella Jones,
Bella Ramsey.
Man, my names today are out. Now, Bella Ramsey as well, because Bella Ramsey, when she another good moment was when Bella Ramsey, you know, she was let's just to not confuse the pronoun. Sorry guys, I'm gonna base the character on what's her name, Ellie. Okay,
on Ellie.
Okay. I'm gonna refer to Ellie as she, and when I go to they, I mean Bella Ramsey. So when the character of Ellie discovers that Joel had a daughter, and that moment of realization where she doesn't say a word, you know, that's also something that kudos to them, to Bella Ramsey. That's such a great performance when they just stop on their tracks and realize that Joel. That's why there's this kind of wall around Joel, and you see the vulnerability of Joel as well in this very great. Like I was gonna cry when he's like, listen, I'm afraid I cannot do this anymore. The word is weighing on him so much. It's incredible. And fucking glorious landscape. The
scenery.
Madonna.
The shots, So beautiful, man. Such beautiful shots in
Please
this.
shout out to the cinematographer and this cinematographer. Last of Us episode 6. She deserves
You can tell they really wanted to take advantage of the landscapes. Usually they're stuck in like cities, and they're still beautifully shot. But here, they really took advantage of like the winter landscapes.
Such a beautiful,
incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. Kudos
to the director, Jasmila Zbanic from Sarajevo, Bosnia. I want to see who was the cinematographer. Actually, they filmed this mostly in Alberta, episode 6. I'm trying to see who. It's just not Evan Belter though.
Let me give my thoughts.
Go for it.
Whilst you look
Go
it
for
up.
it.
So far I've been quite positive on this series, actually very, very positive on this series, but I think this episode truly confirmed that the showrunners here, Neil Druckmann and Craig Mason, I mean, obviously Neil Druckmann, it's his baby, right? But this is why you need someone who truly understands the video game.
So much, yeah.
Because watching this show, you can tell this is done by someone who loves, adores this video game, not afraid to make small changes and big changes when they're needed, because this is a television series and not a video game. But when you have the pivotal moments in the video game, the moment between Joel and Ellie, when Joel tells her, "You're clearly not my daughter," that moment, that is taken almost word for word from the video game. And that, Franco, is my personal favorite moment in the game.
Man. That was
one of those moments in the game where I cried.
Such
honestly.
a powerful moment as well. Okay, so
such a powerful moment.
Cinematography. This episode was done by Christine A. Meyer. Well done. Like proset, because it's the landscape.
Tip off my fedora.
That's so incel of you, man.
Cheers with my Stormtroopers bottle.
Tip of my beanie.
Amazing work, man. That was
tip of my beanie, Christine A. Meyer.
The cinematography in this, I was constantly in awe. And in the opening shots and in the final shots of them, I was constantly in awe. Some other thoughts. What do you think about the cute couple at the start, Franco? That was a nice start.
Graham Greene,
series, adding some levity to it.
That's a great cameo by Graham Greene. He's a mainstay. Yeah, very, very cute and the humor as well. This is actually emotional and humorous. Like when you see like the It's such a great journey. I'm really enjoying the journey of the characters. Very well written characters. All throughout.
By the way, Franco, do you remember when last week I asked you about the ending of episode 5?
Mm-hmm.
And this is how it happened in the game. So they did follow through with the ending in the game, but they had to show it again, obviously, because it's a series. So you see Henry killing himself, and then after you get the 3 months later. So you've got the progression in the time. You've got the winter landscape. And you've got them. So it's very smart because you don't have the characters having to continue dwelling on about the death. You can move on with the story. And it's done well here as well. And in fact, I think it's done on purpose where they add the scene with a bit of levity just to just change the mood just a little bit before you get back into the whole drama between Joel and Ellie. I also really liked how this is not done in the first game, because in the first game, Joel is basically a machine, right? He's a tough character, and that never changes throughout.
We are now going, because I see it's a sort of midpoint. You are now going into second game territory, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, we're still in the first game.
Okay.
No, we're still in the first game. No. I think season 1 will be where the first game ends, basically. They'll end together. And then season 2 will be the second game. That will be an altogether different discussion.
No, but I'm noticing how well structured it is. You can see that this is the midpoint of the series, basically.
Yes, 100%. Which makes me want to go back to my review of episode 3 and cut out all the filler parts, because I think it fits well with the way it's developing now.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually a needed episode now. Now today I confirmed it in my head as I finished this episode. I was like, you know what? Episode 3 was much needed, and it really fits perfectly with the way the story.
Joe would have liked this as well.
Yeah. I always, as I'm a negative person, I tend to always think about the negatives.
But you're Maltese. You're primed to think negatively, man. Trust me when I tell you that. Trust me when I say this is a fucking Maltese trait. No, honest.
So my first assumption was, oh no, Joel and Nelly character development. Where's it going?
But honest.
And thankfully, episode 6.
I'm going to call out myself. But when they left the commune, speaking, this is actually a very political, one of the most political episodes, I would say. How much of a
it's a comment, right? It's just a comment.
Very good comment. But for how much how much the society of Jackson was well functioning compared to, which is funny compared.
To be fair, Franco, in a post-apocalyptic world, I mean, we wouldn't imagine like a capitalistic society, right, to ever function. Like, it makes sense for them to have a commune. I would imagine. That's what makes normal sense to me, right? That it would work something like this, like a commune.
Yeah, I mean, it's pooling the resources, understanding that this is an emergency beyond humanity's imagination. I'm all for communes, and it's very well organized. To be fair, no, though when what Maria's what's her
Maria, yeah.
Maria said the person who's going to betray you the most is the person who will betray you is the one who you trust the most. And I'm like, oh my God, Storm is gonna do something when they leave, but then it's like I was holding my breath, because even the music gave that sort of almost, it was almost a MacGuffin, almost the music, thinking that something bad's gonna happen. But I was so it was such a I breathed.
It was a weird comment, because I know the story, right? And how am I going to explain this without giving any spoilers?
Spoiler ahead, don't worry.
Like, clearly they're referring to something, but I really couldn't understand what they were trying to refer to with that comment by Marie. Honestly, having played the game and knowing, I would assume so far they've been very, very loyal to the story, to the main plot points of the game, and I would assume that's how they're going to continue by the end. So I really couldn't understand what they were referring to, honestly. And it's giving quite a lot of importance. Now, maybe they wanted to develop the tension between Ellie and Joel.
True, but there is
could be it was just that.
There is a great tension. And this is speaking of music, this is the only episode where I felt to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of covers where
the fish.
No, but not to sound.
It was a bit on the nose, right?
Yes, and the covers.
It's a bit too obvious.
And let me say it straight. There are some great covers, some amazing covers around, but most of the covers that are making the most sound is these covers where the singer really goes for the emotion, that it sounds too earnest and contrite. And this was one where out of all the cover versions that they could have chosen, most probably even Depeche Mode, if they actually contacted Depeche Mode to do a cover version of Never Let Me Down Again, even after the death of their third parser in the music, I think they would have done a better job, Depeche Mode themselves. And there must be a proper acoustic version, but this is like it really pulled me out of the situation, the cover version. But it was like when she goes, no, but much of the covers, if you notice, much of the covers is just like, even I heard another cover just can't get enough. And this kind of I just can't get enough. You're not giving me anything, you know. You're just sounding silly, you know. Obviously, the music well done. Very well arranged, but then again, soulless. Not this, but an episode full of soul.
Yes. And talking about the music, the soundtrack in this episode.
Yes.
So good, man. That riff,
Wait.
so good, man. And do you
Let's do
notice?
this.
Do you notice how they use it?
Andrea, do this. Wait. Mwah, mwah, and like this. Like. No, to each other. Like. Mwah, mwah.
Ah. Wait, well,
Let's do a high tech.
So the violins I completely lost right now. What was I going to say? About the music, the riff? Do you notice that they keep on repeating the riff they used when Joel's daughter died? Oh, shame on me.
Sandy?
What was her name? Sarah. When Sarah, they keep on repeating Sarah's, I'll call it Sarah's theme, which is a theme played when she dies in the first episode. And they keep on repeating it every time. That kind of trauma of her death, I think, passes through Joel's head. Whether it is his fear that Ellie is going to be killed for whatever number of reasons. When he sees the girl with the curly hair, the woman with the curly hair, in the middle of the town. There are a lot of moments where we hear that riff kind of, and it's always kind of, and then this episode focuses a lot on trauma, right? The trauma that Joel has been through is incredible. Like I'm sure there's going to be some criticism of people saying, oh, they turned Joel into a wuss.
No.
He's getting his
honestly
panic attacks. I dare anyone to go through what Joel has gone through and to still be, you know, as tough as he is.
Again, another
because it's
another good comment of characterization is how I think part of the there was a certain sense of resentment as well. Tommy's got to live in a very well functioning society. His wife is also pregnant, while Joel still had to continue to do basically the basic shit to survive, you know, killing people. And he has so much unresolved trauma as opposed to his brother Tommy, you know. That's very good characterization. There's good multi-layer characterization.
Yes. And even, for example, when Tommy tells him that Maria is pregnant, you can see Joel was like in between two minds, because he's like, obviously he's trying to be happy for his brother, the brother he loves, but at the same time, he lost that opportunity because he lost Sarah.
True.
So he's being dealt all the bad cards. And then he sees his brother who's happy with his wife, who's going to have a son or daughter, we don't know. And right at this moment where he's going through all this trauma and all these panic attacks, and he's worried that he's going to get Ellie killed. At the same time, he doesn't want to abandon her because he's starting to, you know, grow a certain affection towards her. So they're so multi-layered, man. It's so multi-layered. There are... Ant-Man had like 5 levels of CGI clusterfuck. This has like 10 levels of like nuance, character, like points. It's so good. It's just so good.
Listen, this is
very good. Very good stuff.
What did I say? This has... I don't know if there was any good CGI effects in it. By the way, again, shout out to Corridor Crew. They really mentioned how much the sets and the CGI really gel well together. They were so happy seeing the great amalgamation of it.
Franco, how much of the, because since you watched the Corridor Crew episode, maybe they mentioned it, how much of the like the set is real, and how did they say how much of the set was real and how much of it was CGI? Because I was curious about it.
There was a moment when which episode was it? When they go into the Boston Museum, I think, like, with Tess. So with Tess, Ellie, and Joel. That scene in particular, and they did mention They said that it was an amalgamation of both CGI and obviously they don't. What they do is they don't build the whole set. So what they do is build part of the set, and then do a background matte painting, they call it, and it's basically you could see what is CGI is by the bokeh, they call it, when the lights behind you go out of focus. So
Okay.
they said that is a good giveaway because they weren't sure which parts are real and which parts are CGI, because the bokeh was so well rendered, you could see which part is hotter. Hotter. You know those balls of lights when the light is out of focus. So they made a good comment about it, and obviously they could also notice.
And that's straight from the video games, by the way, Franco. The video games they do that a lot with those like rays of light. Yeah. That's taken straight out of the video
I
games.
noticed a lot even when the horse with the horse and the sun and the sunlight underneath the horse. That was that shot is,
so beautiful. Such a beautiful shot. I got up and I was like, oh, that's so good.
So okay,
when I saw that
speaking
scene,
of which,
I was so happy.
Some of the shots are taken shot by shot from the game.
Yes, pretty much. Like, for example, the moment in the car. Like I said, the moment between Joel and Ellie, there was just one line, which I really missed, and I was quoting the whole scene. And when they came to it, I was like, "You are walking on some mighty thin ice." And he didn't say it. Oh, I was so disappointed. But the rest of the scene was word for word. That scene in the game, that's my favorite moment from The Last of Us, honestly, because
there was a moment with the fireplace, with the fire when they start up a fire and she's looking into the sky, and that's like I said, it's felt like the scene is taken out.
So interesting thing you mentioned there, because she starts to talk about space. In the first game, they never get into her love for space, but they do get into it in the second game, where there is this one of the best moments of The Last of Us, the second game. Spoilers, I can't mention. But anyways, they mention Ellie's love for space and space exploration. So I'm guessing what they did was they took that moment. I hope they still get into it in the second season, because that is a beautiful episode. I hope they spend a whole episode on that small scene and continue. I can't comment about it because there's lots of spoilers. It's too that scene is too spoilery. But anyways, yes, that's where that love for space came from, kind of scene.
Just great. This episode was great cinematography, great story, great characterization. Not very happy with the rendition of Depeche Mode, unfortunately, especially with their great comeback. Oh, and we can close this show today. I'm going to make a comment for great cinematography. The latest music video by Depeche Mode. Speaking of Depeche Mode, with their new song,
I'll check it out after the episode.
Their new song, Ghosts Again. It's directed by a frequent collaborator of theirs, Anton Corbijn. He's his main job is a photographer, but he did shoot. I think these are great recommendations. He did make 2 movies. One was I know one was with George Clooney, where George Clooney is a contract killer, called The American.
The hell?
And one of his first movies was called Control, which is a sort of biography of Ian Curtis, or I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Ian Curtis, the lead singer of Joy Division. Very well shot, great black and white cinematography, and I'm seeing he did some 2 other great movies. No. A Most Wanted Man. A Most Wanted Man. Oh, he did direct A Most Wanted Man, which is a great performance by Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Rest in peace.
And I'm also seeing he also worked with Robert Pattinson in a movie called Life about Dennis Stock,
Okay.
a photographer who strikes an unlikely bond with James Dean. I haven't seen this. I don't know how
I'll take that down.
I don't know how good of a movie it is, but I'm sure the cinematography would be fucking amazing. Yeah, I'm seeing
Very good to hear.
I'm seeing the trailer. It looks like it's great cinematography as well.
Franco, to conclude, would you agree with me that this... So I stand by this. I think this is by far my favorite episode so far. Would you agree, Franco?
As far as emotionally resonating episode, this is by far... No, I wouldn't say... I would say episode 3 is by far the best as far as emotional resonance with Bill and Frank.
Okay, all right.
But this comes a close second because, again, I felt like almost crying when there were very moments where you could feel like the emotional damage that Joel has gone through.
Yeah, the trauma and the panic attacks he gets are so well done.
I can attest to that.
So yeah,
I can attest to that. Those are panic attacks.
And like even the moment where he thought the dog was going to kill Ellie, and like he wants to do something. Obviously, he couldn't do anything there. Yeah, he had no chance. But at the same time, he just freezes because like he's just panicking. Just all really well done, smartly done, just all portrayed so well.
Honestly, yeah.
Hats off to everyone on this show, man. They keep on surprising me by how good each episode is. And Franco, I have wait till this is 9 episodes in total, right? This is a 9 episodes season. So we've got episodes 9 is going to be boy, stuff is gonna happen. Trust
honestly, me. If I were to make a small comment, I would love to see a bit more action now. But otherwise, it's as far as story goes, it's great. It's just a very minor trifle almost to say.
We got a lot of action last episode, to be fair. So I expected a slower episode, to be fair.
No, it's honestly, this episode focus. The drama is so well done. I also wanted to say, this series made walking interesting. Did you notice how?
Yes, because that's the video game, right?
True.
That's the video game. The video game is constantly walking.
Yes, but it takes a lot of talent to make walking interesting because it's
100%.
Because it's 2 characters. The characters are developing. I think it's even if you look at even if you don't look at it from a filmmaker's perspective, it's very enjoyable. But when you see it from a filmmaker's perspective, I think this is a great lesson in storytelling.
And great lesson in adaptation, how to adapt.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, it's cheating, right? Because this is just the story of The Last of Us is so good already. It's like I think if they failed in this adaptation, they would really have had to try to fail. Just like they did with Uncharted. Like I always say, they tried to fail at Uncharted. They must have.
No, but
and it's the same thing with The Last of Us. With The Last of Us,
I think Last of Us, not Last of Us. Uncharted gave them a great big lesson. Especially, I think for Neil Druckmann to say, "Okay, no, I'm gonna hold the reins." Yeah. Plus, it's
this is his baby. This is his baby. He's not going to let this go to anyone. And choosing Craig Mason was
a match made
decision.
in heaven. So at least, hopefully, this episode will restore Joe's belief in God.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing his thoughts on episode 6. All right, guys. So, do you agree with us? Do you agree that The Last of Us episode 6 was a great episode? As I said, I think this was the best episode so far. Franco still thinks that it's episode 3, but of course, Franco still agrees that this was a very, very, very good episode. Also, have you watched all these movies we've been talking about? Joe talked to us a little bit about God of War Ragnarok as well. Have you played the game? Let us know your thoughts. Have you watched Knock at the Cabin? Have you watched Women Talking? I hope you haven't watched Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I probably haven't watched Hello Tomorrow. I recommend you watch it and let us know in the comment section below if you did try it, your thoughts. And finally, Infinity Pool. Have you given it a go? Let us know in the comment section below. And finally, The Last of Us.
Which is
Franco, it's been a great episode as always.
And we are The Last of Us in this podcast. And I wanted to say,
yes, we are.
First of all, stay tuned for the interview with Skinamarink director Kyle Edward Boyle. We're also going to ask him his views on pineapple on pizza. I think that should be the starting question every time. And follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok. Stay tuned for more reviews, mini reviews on TikTok. Comment, like, subscribe, swipe right, whatever you have to do, repost, reblog,
the whole shebang. Follow us on Spotify. Please follow us on Spotify.
True.
It's much needed.
I have
and that's pretty much it, guys.
Spotify sentiment from my side. No, I forget to mention it. All right.
Okay. So I'm gonna go watch Navalny.
I'm going to go watch Navalny as well.
And so we'll talk about it next week then.
Sure thing.
All right. Cheers and peace. See you guys. So this episode is going to come out on Tuesday or Wednesday, probably Wednesday. And our Skinamarink episode with Kyle Edward Ball will come out on Saturday. So stay tuned till then. See you guys in a bit.
Ciao.